Live from the national capital, Washington, D.C., a glorious nighttime view of Washington. At the top of your screen, the Washington Monument, then the Capitol building. As we pan down to where we are all gathered, RFK Stadium, a jam-packed crowd, and not at home in the White House tonight, but rather here at RFK Stadium, the President of the United States, Jimmy Carter, together with his wife, Rosalind. Why is everybody here as the booing is for the Dallas Cowboys? Well, that's why. One of the richest, most traditional rivalries in the National Football League. The Super Bowl champion Dallas Cowboys against the surprisingly unbeaten Washington Redskins, as we take a quick look at the standings in the NFC Eastern Division. There is Washington at 4-0. Dallas having lost to Los Angeles at 3-1. So we've got a big event tonight. Washington against Dallas, Monday Night Football, the President in attendance.
20 seconds to air. Stand by, all cameras.
Ready. Stand by in videotape.
Ready.
Stand by slow-mo.
Stand by to open your mics on the field.
Stand by in graphics. Ready with your opening supers. Stand by the announcers in the booth, please. And roll tape.
3, 2, 1. Take tape.
Live from Robert F. Kennedy Memorial Stadium in Washington, D.C., ABC's NFL Monday Night Football. The once defeated Super Bowl champion Dallas Cowboys against the undefeated Washington Redskins. This ABC Sports exclusive is brought to you by Buick, who invites you to see your dealer soon and test drive one of the new 79 Buicks. It's a treat you really owe yourself. After all, life is to enjoy. And by Lanier Dictating Equipment and the No Problem Typewriters. Lanier Business Products. We take the problems out of office paperwork.
Hello again, everyone. As you can hear in the background, it's a perfectly frenzied crowd tonight. We've already described the rivalry between the two teams. Unbeaten Washington, Super Bowl champion Dallas Cowboys. The game doesn't really need a build-up except for this. Washington has been re-architectured, and the man behind the scenes to do that is the underpublicized new general manager, Bobby Beathard. Will be developing that theme during the course of the evening. Otherwise, we expect a great game, and we want you to have Dandy Don Meredith tell you about his former team, the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, dude, I've been here since Saturday, and I want to tell you there's magic in the air. There's Redskin fever everywhere. The president's here. There's senators here. There's congressmen here. Attorney generals here. It's everywhere. I've talked to people at hotels. I've talked to taxi cab people, a couple of bartenders. They're all after the Redskins. But being an impartial social observer, I've observed both of these teams. And I feel I must go with Dallas because I like their nicknames better. You start off with Too Tall Jones, Too Short Newhouse, Too Mean Martin, Too Clean Staubach, Too Good Dorset, and last but not least, Too Much Landry. I think I got to go with Dallas. What do you think, Frank?
I think you probably are, Don, out of loyalty, of course, but only two bartenders over the course of a few minutes.
A couple of them. I spoke to a couple. They think Redskins are going to win big.
Okay, Howard touched on the fact this is a new Washington Redskin team. He mentioned Bobby Beathard, their personnel manager, but Jack Pardee lends something special. Jack Pardee, of course, he's considered a Redskin, even though his greatest years were probably played in Los Angeles. Came with George Allen, played a couple of years, and he's been a successful coach wherever he's been. Witnessed the Chicago Bears last year in their playoff bid, the first time since they got there in 1963. He's changed things around a little bit. The Redskins have a $250,000 quarterback sitting on the bench in Billy Kilmer. He's ready if he's needed, but Joe Theismann is the man, and Joe Theismann can do something that lot of quarterbacks can't do to the Dallas Cowboys, and that is roll out of that pocket, threaten the Dallas Cowboys with the run. The Cowboys are a well-disciplined football team. Joe Theismann can change up all their keys, throw them really, quite frankly, into chaos back there. But it is that kind of electric feeling you get here at RFK Stadium. It's a rare happening in football. The Washington and Dallas series has always been great. We're looking for another one. We'll have a kickoff for you in a moment. There is no way you could get a football ticket to this game tonight. The Washington Redskins and the Dallas Cowboys. Everywhere we have traveled around this city, how can we get in? There is no way. It's that kind of rivalry. The undefeated Washington Redskins, surprisingly so, quite frankly. They beat New England, they beat the Eagles, they beat St. Louis, they beat the Jets. Dallas, they're 3-1. They beat Baltimore in our opening Monday night game 38-0. They lost to Los Angeles. They looked vulnerable at that point. And tonight is their test, the team that they'll have to beat in their division for a chance at the playoffs. You saw the kicker, Rafael Septian, dropping deep for the Washington Redskins. Tony Green, who had a little bit of a knee problem, is back and he's healthy. And back there with him, number 30, Ike Forte, recently acquired from New England. But this is the man that can break open a game. One touchdown on a return already this year of 99 yards, and Septian drills it. And it will be Green, the rookie from Florida, at his 5-yard line. And Green powers out to the 32-yard line. Well, Washington will have their first possession, and this place is supercharged tonight, and it's going to be very difficult for the players to keep their composure. There they are, Joe Theismann leading the NFC at quarterback. The two setbacks, Mike Thomas and John Riggins. Riggins having a fine year, coming off a knee injury from last year. The wide receivers, Ricky Thompson and Frank Grant. The number 1 receiver, Danny Buggs, is injured. He will not play. The tight end is Gene Fugate. A veteran offensive line. They'll have their hands full tonight against one of the top defensive front fours in all of football, the Dallas Cowboys. First and 10 Redskins, their own 32-yard line. Theismann, slight roll to the left. Going deep to McDaniel, and it's incomplete, and a flag is down.
The way to go against Dallas
is not to hold for sure, and that is the call.
I was waiting on the call, Frank. The way to go against Dallas is to throw on first down. They've got a computerized defense. They've got what they call the flex defense with 2 defensive linemen a half-yard or so behind the normal line position. Here's the call.
Number 64, holding, offense, 1st and 20.
Which gives them a better angle against the offensive line block. There's the Dallas Cowboys defensive line. There's the linebackers, Henderson, Brunig, and D.D. Lewis, the veteran. Washington, Kyle Waters, and Harris in the backfield. All familiar names.
Ron Saul was holding. First down and 20. The ball at the 22-yard line of the Redskins. Handoff, John Riggins. And hustling in there quickly is Too Tall Jones. He misses, but number 53, Bob Brunig, does it. A loss of about 2 yards, 3 yards on the play. The middle linebacker, Bob Brunig, moving in there.
Had an interesting set that time, Frank. Charlie Waters played the left cornerback for Dallas. We'll see if that's a trend. They've been having trouble in that position with Mark Washington and Benny Barnes. In that particular set, it was Charlie Waters at left corner.
Second down, 25. Just underway if you join us. And there is electricity in the air tonight. These two teams have battled each and every year over the past almost decade for the Eastern Division title of the NFC. Frank Grant and John McDaniel, those are the wide receivers. Theismann rolling out, fires to Mike Thomas over the middle. It's complete. Cliff Harris makes a stop, and Thomas is out to about the 25, 26-yard line, where it is ruled incomplete. But he held on, and that is going to be up third down and 25.
All right, I'm telling you, here we come back. They're trying to roll out too, Howard. That's another technique that's been fairly successful against Dallas. When you go back in that conventional pocket, they get a little bit more pressure than usual. But you see number 43, Cliff Harris, is right there close. And I'm telling you, there is magic in the air.
Third down, 25. McDaniel, top of your screen, he's 86. Frank Grant, he's the speedster, he's number 46. Those are wide receivers. The all-out rush. Theismann, that ability to scramble. And not scrambling far enough. Stepping out of bounds at the 25-yard line. Tom Henderson over there to make sure it's fourth down and about 17, and that brings on the punting unit for the Washington Redskins. Mike Bragg, number 4, one of the fine kickers in the league. He steps out, and deep for the Cowboys. Butch Johnson moving back to his own 34-yard line.
We're going to face Washington's first test of the evening. Will their defense sustain against Dallas's diversified offense? That'll tell a lot about this game right off.
They got themselves in trouble, holding on the very first play, and that's not the thing to do against Dallas. Dallas should have good field position. A near miss on the block. Butch Johnson has the time at his 32-yard line. Good coverage, and you'll always see fine special team coverage by the Washington Redskins. 43-yard punt, and the Dallas Cowboys, the top team offensively in the NFL, will take over 1st and 10 in just a moment. For the Cowboys, of course, Roger Staubach is a quarterback, a dangerous young man. Tony Dorsett is in there with Robert Newhouse at the setbacks. Wide receivers, Drew Pearson, Tony Hill, the Super Bowl champion Cowboys. They have a 1st and 10. The ball at their own 34-yard line. The offensive line, and it's a good one. Quick toss. It goes to Dorsett. Dorsett piled up on the sidelines. Didn't even get back to the line of scrimmage. Hustling out there, Dave Butts, but he had a lot of help from his friends. Loss of a half a yard.
Had a lot of help from the middle linebacker, Harold Tank McClinton, who's been around a lot of years. He's a tough cookie. There's the defensive line. The veteran McDowell seems ageless. Butts, who's come into his own. Talbot, Coy Bacon, Brad Dusek, who won the New England game. McClinton, and of course, Chris Hamburg.
And watch for number 71. He'll alternate with Ron McDowell tonight defensively for Washington. Passing downs, number 71, Carl Lorch, will come in. 2nd down, a little over 10 yards. Drew Pearson is in motion. Handoff, Dorsett. Dorsett bounces off Hamburger and lunges forward close to the 40-yard line. Gain of 5. It'll be 3rd down and 6. Coy Bacon, Harold McClinton in on the stop after Hamburger had missed.
And you just saw the numbers 27, Kenny Houston, strong safety, and Jake Scott, number 13. They have a great secondary because of the addition of Lamar Parrish. Joe Lavender is the 4th. They all do their jobs.
Into the lineup for Dallas, and if you follow this team, you know he'll always be there on passing downs, number 26, Preston Pearson. A fine, gifted receiver. Staubach goes to Pearson over the middle, and he misses. It'll be 4th down, and Washington is held, and the crowd already cheering, standing on their feet.
I love it.
And they just did not prevent Dallas a 1st down.
So the Washington defense stopped them, but even then you saw Staubach do what he's so good at. Getting an outside rush on both sides, he moved up into the cup and thus had time to make the throw, even though it was incomplete.
Danny White will punt. Deep, Tony Green, the rookie from Florida. 2nd in the NFC, 2nd in the NFL, rather. The only one that's returned punts better this year is Denver's Rick Upchurch. Tony Green averaging over 16 yards a pop. And Dallas, too much time.
Oh, they're going to love it.
And this is unusual for the Dallas Cowboys. You don't see it. It's an organized machine. And the coaching staff, headed by Tom Landry, will not like this.
Game, violation of the 30-second count, 4th down.
The kick runner, Tony Green, whom Frank has mentioned, was Washington's #1 draft choice on the 6th round. He is better than good. He is great and will prove it. He's broken one for 80.
5'9", 185-pound speedster, and Danny White hits a beauty. It drives Green to the 20.
Oh, he can move.
Oh, and Tony Green gets the Redskins out of trouble. He's out to the 36-yard line, 46-yard punt. And Tony Green hit his average, 16 yards on that return. A beautiful night for football. We'll be right back at the nation's capital after this.
Jack Pardee, covered by Chris Hamburger, of whom the Giffer spoke. A remarkable man as well as an exceptional coach. One of the few human beings alive to have defeated black mold cancer. Remarkably back playing in his playing years within 4 months after surgery. Giff.
1st and 10. Handoff, John Riggins. And Riggins bolts to the middle. Breaking tackles all the way down to the 43-yard line of the Dallas Cowboys. John Riggins having a tremendous year off a bad knee from last year, and this former New York Jet has seemingly really found himself this year.
They caught him, Frank, and look what they do to Brunig. They fire right out on Brunig, come through in the middle. They caught him in the flex defense, came right up the middle. There was a mixed tackle by Randy White. They had him spread pretty good with 2 wide receivers to one side, another wide receiver to the other. Left that middle wide open, split it in good shape for a first down.
The ball inside the 44-yard line. 1st and 10, the Redskins. Theismann looks one way, pumps, goes out to the left side to number 83, Ricky Thompson. Ricky Thompson has 5 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 5.
Good move by Theismann. He looked to his right, covered, came back, threw right past D.D. Lewis, number 50, who was covering, picked up about 4 or 5 yards.
He's got a whole new security, which was given to him by Jack Pardee. Frank mentioned Riggins having a great year. He's already gained more yards this year than he did all last year.
He was hurt early, though, last year, wasn't he?
Yes, but the question is, how do you use Riggins? And Pardee is using him right. More on that later.
2nd and 5. The ball inside the 40-yard line. Theismann, delayed handoff. Mike Thomas. Thomas skips around the left side, short of the first down, goes out of bounds around the 34-yard line by Charlie Waters moving over there. And you mentioned Bobby Beathard, Howard. He brought in Tony Green, but where he made the big change was defensively. He brought in Coy Bacon to give the Redskins a pass rush.
And
he brought in Lamar Parrish. He gave up a #1 draft pick for 2 former All-Pro players, and they are playing All-Pro football this year. 3rd and about a yard.
I always wonder about when they trade somebody, though. You know, it means that the other team doesn't want them.
Well, there were money problems involved as far as Cincinnati was concerned. Coy Bacon, they felt, was a bad actor. He's happy here.
3rd and short. Riggins, and he didn't get the first down. He was drilled back. The man that hit him first, a middle linebacker, Bob Brunig.
I thought it was a Jethro Pugh myself. I know Jethro was in there pretty close. They've always kidded Jethro Pugh. What is a Jethro Pugh from Elizabeth City State? But Brunig is right. He's coming in there right first. You're right, Frank, and Jethro comes in on the other side. Brunig has done a heck of a job there in the middle.
4th down, the ball inside the 36-yard line. And setting it up will be Joe Theismann. He is the holder. Keep in mind, they don't necessarily have to kick. Mark Mosley can kick this far. He had a couple of 50-yarders last year. Straightaway kicker. Has the time. Hangs it high. It's good. 52-yard field goal. The Redskins are on the scoreboard. Mark Mosley hits from 52 yards out. He had a 53-yarder, a 54-yarder last year, and he picks up where he left off. We'll be right back. $55,000 fans gave Mark Mosley a standing ovation as he left the field. He has put the Redskins ahead with 10:59 remaining in the first quarter. 3-0, 52-yard field goal. Deep now for the kickoff. Number 86 is Butch Johnson, and Doug Dennison is number 21. Johnson, a dangerous kick return artist, has failed to break any off this year. Mosley hits it high. That's a characteristic of Mosley. This is Butch Johnson. Johnson maintains his balance and goes out of bounds at the 36-yard line. The man who made the save there, Tony Green, number 34. Let's take a look at it again from the end zone.
Old Mark Mosley from Laneville, Texas, kicked this one really high, as you pointed out, Frank. But Butch Johnson, he's the guy that's been in the... He's really come on the last 2 years as that kick returner. They run with that reckless abandon. You see Tony Green come over. Mark Mosley's the last guy there. I think actually he stepped out of bounds, but Green is the guy that knocked him out. We have a Cowboy injured on the plane, but Butch is the guy. You know, they kept Butch Johnson.
And traded Golden Richards to the Bears. And Richards is a fine player.
Which says a lot for Johnson, wouldn't you think?
Mike Eggman is the one who's down, being helped off the field.
Eggman, of course, a defensive starter for the Dallas Cowboys, moving off the field. I'll tell you, this telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League. It's intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the expressed written consent of the National Football League is prohibited. 1st and 10, Dallas. The ball at their own 36-yard line. A look at Roger Staubach, 3rd in the NFC thus far this year in passing. Man behind him, 33, leads the National Football League in rushing. That's Tony Dorsett. Going quickly to Drew Pearson, and Drew Pearson is hit and driven out of bounds short of the first down at the 43-yard line.
Great
second down and 3.
Great concentration when you say, Frank, on Drew's part. The ball was thrown up. He never had a chance to bring it back down, exposed his ribs, and he was powdered pretty good there by Joe Lavender. You'll see it was a quick out pattern, they call it at Dallas. He's just trying to get that loosed up again on first down. So that ball is up. Lavender comes in, wraps his arms around him. Drew kept his concentration and picked up a good 8 yards.
Second down and 3. Ball at the 43-yard line. Drew out to the right. Newhouse adjusts. The other wide receiver, Coach Tony Hill. Redskins fake the blitz.
Yeah.
And they come with it. The attempted screen was to Billy Joe Dupree, the tight end. Wily defense, these Washington Redskins. They've been around for a while. Howard mentioned Ron McDowell. In the middle of that line, 72, Dyer and Talbot. You don't fool him very often. You don't fool Chris Hanberger. He's been around 13 years. And Brad Dusick is having his very best year. Dusick, number 59, responsible really for the New England victory in the very first game of the season.
That's right. He scooped up a Harris Ivory fumble with less than 3 minutes left, ran it in for a touchdown.
Third down, 3 for Dallas.
I think they'll come back to the left in a little while because they're setting them out there in pretty good shape. Right across.
Billy Joe Dupree, first down midfield. Roger Staubach popped in there by big number 65, Dave Butts.
Might be an opportunity, Frank, to mention the fact which most folks know that Jackie Smith, the great St. Louis Cardinal tight end, was picked up by Dallas this last week when Jay Saldi, backup or alternating tight end with Billy Joe Dupree, broke his arm a week ago. So we've got Jackie Smith, 38 years old. I played against him a lot of years. He's now the Dallas Cowboy.
Worked out for the first time on Friday. We talked to Tom Landry today. He said, yes, he's hurting. But he said he'll be ready. The 1st and 10 is right at midfield. Washington leading 3-0. Inside handoff Dorsett. In front of it is Herbert Scott.
Herbert got a pretty good block out there, Frank.
He got a great block. He got a great block from number 68, Herb Scott from Virginia Union.
See that extension that he had there, Howard. He shot out with his legs. Strong legs.
It's a gain of 4. It'll be 2nd down and 6. Watch Herbert Scott, 68.
Sounds like the Irish connection with Donovan, Scott, Fitzgerald, Rafferty, and Frederick. But this time we're watching Scott, and there he is.
Wipes out Dusick.
You bet. But they actually had great pursuit. You saw real good coverage by Ken Houston coming up over number 27. Turned it in. 2nd
and 6, the 46-yard line of the Redskins. Dorsett. Inside the 45, too close to the 43. And it'll be 3rd down and 4.
All right, that's Joe Theismann, but I want to talk about number 65, Dave Butts, the number 1 draft choice of Purdue, who just made that tackle. Out of Purdue, St. Louis, supposedly couldn't make it. George Allen brought him here, supposedly couldn't make it. He's come into his own. He is playing sensational football. A huge man.
Uncle Earl, of course, the former Secretary of Agriculture. The Cowboys looking at a 3rd down and 3. The ball at the 43-yard line. Preston Pearson, he has the first down inside the 40-yard line. Preston Pearson, we mentioned before, he is the man they go to on so many passing situations. Not the runner that Tony Dorsett is.
He's 33 years old. That might have something to do with it, but you're right. He really is a good man to have on your side, Frank. He's got that kind of a smooth, fluid way of running pass patterns, and they bring him in on those situations, and somehow he always gets open.
1st and 10. The Cowboys on the move. 8:30 remaining in the first quarter. Washington leading 3-0. Tony Dorsett. The Redskins string it out and pile Dorsett up after a gain of a couple. It'll be 2nd down and 8. Harold McClinton over there, Jake Scott, and the man who strung it out, number 79, Ron McDowell.
So far, the Redskins are containing the run. There's the Yankee final today, in case anybody missed that game, seen on ABC. One of the truly classic games of contemporary baseball. The Yankees hanging on. The president on hand for this contest with his wife. And 5-4. The Yankees won it in the American League East. They'll be at Kansas City tomorrow night.
Marked inside the 37. Second down and 7. Newhouse is in motion. Launches himself into a pass pattern, and it's overthrown as Chris Hamburger was all over Robert Newhouse. We'll be taking a look at highlights of that Yankee victory, and I agree, Howard, that was a thriller. And my congratulations to both of those teams. Of course, Boston getting in all that trouble a few weeks ago, and they never once gave up. Battled back. Great baseball team, both of them.
And the highlights at halftime, and a pair of unexpected heroes, Bucky Dent and Lou Piniella.
Third down, 7. Billy Joe Dupree widens out into a slot. Saw that from the shotgun.
Wide open.
As the time, and Dupree is wide open.
Oh, what a good pattern.
Wide open in front of Gerald Williams.
Really good pattern, Frank. Had Pearson going deep. He had the other Pearson, as Preston and Drew over on both sides. Back in the shotgun, he had Dupree going down on a sideline out route. Dupree has good speed, too. They just couldn't cover him all over there. Had to get deep, and Billy Joe cut to the outside.
When they spread Dupree out there, they almost force you into a man-for-man. That time, Gerard Williams, man-to-man with Dupree. No contest. First down, Cowboys. 19-yard line of the Redskins.
Keep an eye on Tony Hill up there. That man is too smooth. I forgot about him in the opening.
Newhouse finds an opening. Cuts back. Gets inside the 15 to the 13-yard line. He has another Dallas first down, hit there by Joe Lavender. Well, and now they do indicate first down Dallas.
That was the best run from scrimmage the Cowboys have had tonight. Newhouse has improved every single year.
You can't leave him alone, can you? You know, he's the kind of guy that really can hurt you. He's got the great balance that we've seen time and time again.
Well, he can receive. He can make the yardage on the run. He's a diversified ball player.
Good block.
The 11th play of this drive coming up.
Watch Dorsett take this one.
Drew Pearson in motion.
There you go.
Quick toss to Dorsett. Good blocking in front. He cuts back, doesn't read it, or he might have gone in. He bobbles the ball.
All right, Redskins.
Washington has recovered at their own 9-yard line.
And they go crazy in RFK Stadium, and the turnovers will kill you every time. That's what killed Cleveland yesterday. It's the story week in and week out of a losing team, or the team that loses a given game.
That was really funny. I saw Rafferty come up with the ball. I wonder how that happened.
We do not know who recovered it at the bottom of that pile, but this is the man that coughed it up, and he's going to have to stop doing that.
Yeah, stop doing that, too.
Washington, 3-0. 52-yard field goal, Mosley. First and 10. Inside their own 10-yard line. Theismann, gutsy little man. Again, the crowd finds Mike Thomas, and it's deflected by number 53, Bob Brunig, and Thomas was there.
Brunig didn't quite run a good enough pattern, or he'd have hit him because it was right there to him.
Well, Brunig had the deep drop. He's superb at that. He's quick going back. That's the way to really time a linebacker, as you know, Don, dropping back. And he's superb at that.
You know, they do put a lot of emphasis on that 40-yard dashes and 100-yard dashes, but really you're not called on to do those 100s or 40s that often. It's those 10 and 15-yard sprints that are really important. So that quickness that these guys have is what's the #1 key.
Harold McClinton was the man at the bottom of the pile that recovered the Dorsett fumble.
You could have fooled me.
Second down and 10. Theismann again. They said they'd come out throwing. They're doing just that.
All right.
On the receiving end is Ricky Thompson.
What a nice pattern that Thompson ran on Cliff Harris. My gosh, he came down, got him head up, cut to the outside. Theismann made a good throw.
Ricky Thompson playing, quite frankly, because Danny Buggs has a shoulder separation. Danny Buggs had been their leading receiver. Gets the first down. He's a third-year man out of Baylor.
You take a look at it again, Frank, but I don't know whether we can see. You look at that timing. That Ricky was right back on the outside. That's Aaron Kyle, number 25. He had up there. They were in there kind of a prevent defense. He ran right between Kyle and Cliff Harris.
Another Bobby Beathard acquisition. Middle round draft pick from Baltimore. 1st and 10, the Redskins at the 30-yard line. Mike Thomas, a flea flicker, and forget it, was not going to go this time.
Oh, I was
Randy
watching.
White was there first. Then came Charlie Waters.
Yeah, Charlie Waters was the guy, really, Frank. He came from the outside. He keyed in on Gene Puget, the tight end. Puget did not go down quickly in a pass pattern. So Waters come from the outside, a quick fake. You see that right there's Randy White, number 54, but he looked back around, and the first one he really saw was Charlie Waters, number 41.
You know, they ought to go back to the drawing board with that one. That is not a good flea flicker. They didn't even have a chance for it to develop downfield. They didn't even see it.
That's right. You're exactly right. That's Pardee working with the defense. Chris Handberger, the veteran, number 55 with him. The flea flicker can win a game for you, as it did for Pittsburgh recently, when it wound up with Bradshaw throwing to Benny Cunningham.
The ball is at the 17. 2nd down, 23, and here comes Mike Thomas. And Thomas does his thing, moving out over the 20-yard line to about the 26-yard line, just short of the 26. Tom Henderson upended Mike Thomas. It'll be 3rd down and 14.
Regardless of the failure of that flea flicker to develop, as Frank accurately depicted, the Washington offense is a whole new offense and a key to the success of this team. And the creator of it is number 80 of the New York Giants, a teammate of the Giffers, Joe Walton.
And a former Redskin, too. He began his career right here. He has given all the credit for the offense being sparked up, but number 7, the man you just looked at, has a great deal of responsibility, too. A very mobile quarterback, Joe Theismann. Fires over the middle, and he throws it behind Mike Thomas, almost picked off by Benny Barnes. 4th down.
Barnes had that play pegged from the very beginning. Theismann looked squarely at the intended receiver from the beginning. It was an easily readable play. Joe comes off field. And the excitement of this crowd is almost reminiscent of that in the Superdome in Louisiana, Frank. They've been frenetic since the game started. I refer, of course, to that amazing scene when Ali fought Spinks.
Butch Johnson, Mike Bragg will punt for Washington. Bragg lifts it high. Butch Johnson calls for, makes the fair catch at his own 38-yard line. So it's 3-0 here in the nation's capital, RFK Stadium, 4:17 remaining in the first quarter. Well, I'll go along with that. Emmy certainly will.
That's right.
May your heart be always busy.
May your feet be always swift. Is that it?
No, may your hands
1st and 10, Dallas, their own 38-yard line. Staubach on 1st down. To the air. Goes out to Drew Pearson, who slipped. Came back on his feet, but caught the ball out of bounds. Joe Lavender providing the coverage.
That was what you call a home crowd demonstration that he was out of bounds.
Well, I must say they're working on Joe Lavender tonight. Watch Drew Pearson slip right here, and then watch closely. Well, we didn't have that good a view. Okay.
All right, we'll take another look at it.
There'll be a lot of traumatized cornerbacks in the NFL over this year. You can no longer hit that receiver when he comes 5 yards down the field.
Good call.
No, it was not a good call because the defensive back knocked him out.
2nd down and 10.
I disagree.
Well, that's so what.
Tony Dorsett out over the 40 to the 42-yard line. 3 yards. It'll be 3rd down and 7. Darren Talbert in there on the stop. The Staubach will, in all probability, come out in a shotgun. In comes Preston Pearson. He'll spread receivers all over the field in an effort to get one-on-one coverage.
This is where you might see Handberger do a blitz, or McClinton, either one. Both of them.
Yeah, we got to see if they get a pass rush on them. You're exactly right.
Lortz is in. McDowell is out. 71, top of your defensive line for the Redskins. He's the best pass rusher in there at the moment, along with Coy Baker.
They're not going to blitz this time.
Into a crowd, Tony Hill.
Oh, is he smooth?
And this time it's complete. Inside the Redskins portion of the field, it'll be 1st down.
Well, he appears to be shaken up. Landry labeled him a remarkable receiver before the season even began, and he gives every evidence of being that. He showed us a lot when they played Baltimore in the season's opener. As we look again,
boy, he makes some catch here.
He has this ability to adjust to the ball after it's thrown. You know what? I believe he just came down on that knee. No, he got hit right there. He got hit. Whoa, wait a minute.
Jake Scott came in there and gave him a shot.
Well, that's all right.
And he's being administered to right now, right in front of the Redskins bench. Now he's up on his feet.
What a pity you never had him to throw to.
Oh, well, I had a few good ones.
You know who holds
Here's
the
nice.
record, by the way, the longest completion ever against the Redskins?
I know.
You're sitting right next to him, Howard.
Yes, sir.
Bobby Hayes, 95-yarder a few years ago.
It was one of those when I said, Bobby, take off, son. You other folks hold. I'm going to throw it as far as I can.
Not only that, he did. And Hayes became a noted receiver only because of the brilliance of Meredith.
No.
The record speaks for itself.
He really did change, I think, defenses more than any one individual. And before they even saw him, they just had heard about him, and they started adjusting to him.
I heard it was a 3-yard square out.
It was something like that.
First and 10. The ball at the 49-yard line of the Redskins. 3:29 remains in the first quarter. The Redskins lead 3-0. Butch Johnson is in at wide receiver with Drew Pearson. This is Dorsett.
Look out, look
That's
out.
Scott in front of him again. And another Cowboy first down. Dorsett inside the 40. Close to the 38-yard line. Tripped up by Lamar Parrish.
Well, they took advantage of a blitz then, or an attempted blitz by 53, Tank McClinton. And they blocked brilliantly on the offensive line. I got to tell you, that kid Rafferty from Penn State, and Tom Landry said after our Baltimore-Dallas game that he never had a lineman play a better game than Rafferty did that night. He has become some football player. Really exceptional.
Your eye is getting better every year. You're amazing.
First and 10. Tony Hill back in the lineup. Dorsett finds a little opening and spurts down at the 35-yard line. Gets 4 yards. It'll be second down and 6.
Dallas trails 3-0, yet has dominated the quarter in time of possession and in yards gained. The only thing that's held them back with that, again, glorious aerial view of RFK Stadium on this magnificent evening has been the turnover by Dorsett when they were within touchdown scoring position.
Our cameraman Bill Sullivan up there along with pilot Patrick Henry giving you that beautiful shot of RFK Stadium.
Patrick Henry, I wonder what happened to him.
Second down, 6. Pearson in motion. Drawback.
That could be.
Looking for Tony Hill, and he overthrows Tony Hill, or it would have been a long gainer.
He sure had time, Don.
Had good time. You know, I think that's one of the plays that you see them use more and more because of the pursuit that Washington usually has on their defense. They're very quick. They really move to that first move, those reverses, what we call the bootleg. You see the thing go one way and they come back the other way. It's a great way to get some time to throw. He also had Drew Pearson that time going straight down the middle of the field, 1-on-1 with Jake Scott. That might work sometime, but I'll take my odds on Pearson.
The specialty defenses are in, the specialty offense is in. McClinton comes out, McDole is out, Lorch is in, Gerard Williams is in, Preston Pearson is in for Dallas. Third down and 6. Drawback from the shotgun. Again has the time.
No way.
And Pearson trying to run a fly. Either that or Drew Pearson changed up on Staubach. In any event, Staubach doesn't like it. It's going to bring up 4th down.
He likes it a lot more than Landry's going to like it when he gets over there at the sideline. I guarantee you, he threw that one way too early.
I don't believe it was him, Don. I think it was changed up on him.
No, I don't think so, Frank.
He was glaring at Drew Pearson.
Yeah, that's an old trick you learn when you play quarterback.
And if you've made a mistake
That's
or
right.
a bad
You
throw.
say, oh, come on, man. You know, nobody knows.
In the meantime, I've never seen Landry look better in terms of his guard.
I think, well, Alicia's still dressed. She's resting him, man. She knows how to dress him. He'll be in the top 10 again.
Danny White, Tony Green is deep for Washington. White, of course, will angle for the sidelines.
Nice kick.
Looks like
He
a
may have
beauty.
something working.
He did, didn't he? Wait a minute.
Well, not as good as it looked from here. Out of bounds inside the 11-yard line, where Washington will begin once again in trouble.
Still a good kick.
They got the ball inside their 10-yard line. Their last possession, that on a Dorsett fumble, a Tank McClinton recovery. We have 1:59 remaining in the first quarter, 3-0. 52-yard Mark Mosley field goal for Washington.
So far, Terry Hermeling's been doing a pretty good job on Harvey Martin over there. And if that remains that way for the rest of the night, Washington's offense is sure going to be in a lot better shape.
On first down. Mike Thomas. Charlie Waters makes the stop. Thomas gets a yard and a half. It'll be second down and 8.
You mentioned Terry Hermeling, Dandy. He's the guy there have been complaints about in the league, covering his shirt with petroleum jelly and thus being hard to get a hold of, to be thrust aside by one with the strength of Harvey Morton.
KY jelly? Is he using KY jelly?
Just about.
That devil, what a sneaky guy he must be.
Haven't heard that on the air since Bobby Bragan described Gaylord Perry's spitball.
2nd and 8.
It's greaseless, you know.
Riggins, and Riggins runs into a pack of trouble, principally number 50, D.D. Lewis. He was the first Cowboy to make the contact.
He called for Harvey, and he came in there with it.
The best way to use John Riggins is as much as possible to try to get him into one-on-one tackling situations. In other words, use him on the quick swing or flare pass, because nobody is harder to bring down in that kind of situation. I went all through this with Weeb Eubank. I was with the Jets in their office. There's John Riggins. He now wears a full head of hair. He's kind of flaky. He used to have it shaved and play Indian. We'll get back to him later.
3rd down, 7. Dallas adjustment, 5 defensive secondary men. Theismann puts everyone out. You can do that when you can scramble. A man is open. It's number 46, Frank Grant.
Nice throw.
First down, Washington. Theismann getting the Redskins out of trouble.
Nice throw, Frank. He did a good job. He had Dennis Thurman over there. They hit right in the middle of that Dallas prevent defense. I used to get so aggravated when they put in this prevent defense. I said, man, we've been stopping them all night long with the one we've been running. Why you put those other folks in there? But he beat me with numbers again on Monday.
That was Dennis Thurman, the rookie from USC, made the stop for Dallas.
You think he's going to be a pretty good one. He's not the speediest cat around, but he's got great reactions.
There's
Frank Grant. Whom did he replace, Frank? Whom did he succeed? Do you remember?
A great one, Charles Taylor and Roy Jefferson.
That's the guy. Jefferson, who was in our booth tonight.
From the 31-yard line on first down, it goes to Ricky Thompson. Ricky Thompson has a 4-yard pickup out close to the 35-yard line. Aaron Kyle covering for Dallas.
I really like that kind of pass on first down more than I do the deeper ones. You're right. Both of you guys have indicated it's a good thing to throw on Dallas in the first down, but you always say, well, what happens if you don't complete it? You're in trouble then when it's at 2nd and long. So if you go ahead and throw one, a fairly conservative, high percentage pass, like a square out, puts yourself in good position with a 2nd and 5.
And Theismann has put his Redskins into a 2nd and 5. We'll call it 2nd and 6. The ball right at the 35-yard line. Riggins on the left side. He has good speed for the big man. Short of the first down at the 40-yard line. It'll be 3rd and 1. He was hit by Bob Bruning over there in pursuit. And number 25, Aaron Kyle. And seconds ticking away here in the first quarter. Not the explosive game that we felt it would be. The Redskins leading 3-0 on a 52-yard Mark Mosley field goal. The capacity crowd rises to their feet. We'll be right back. We begin the second quarter. The undefeated Washington Redskins 4-0 against the 3-1 Dallas Cowboys. The Redskins at their own 40-yard line, 3rd down and 1. Short yardage offense. Jim Harlan in there as one tight end. He wears number 68. We'll report to the official, make it legal. And it goes out. It's John McDaniel. John McDaniel, another acquisition this year for the Washington Redskins, gets the first down. He, of course, played at Cincinnati.
Frank is right. We first caught this young man when he was unexpectedly played at Cincinnati against Los Angeles 2 years ago. He chewed them up as the Bengals upset the Rams that night. McDaniel, the unquestioned star.
You know, he only made one start with Cincinnati. Played some good football for him, but he set a Cincinnati record for receptions in one game, and he played behind Isaac Curtis in doing so. Our Redskins 1st and 10. The ball at the 41-yard line of Dallas. The handoff, Mike Thomas. Thomas into a lot of trouble over the left side.
On the play before this one, Frank, you saw him go to that right side. This is where Dallas actually is 14th in the league in defense against the pass. And a lot of it has been caused over in that left cornerback where Benny Barnes and Mark Washington have been swapping off time. That time it was Benny Barnes. Most teams are working in that area. They kind of stay away from Aaron Kyle, who's supposedly the great athlete. You can see the statistics there on the field, but that was a good 3rd down call, I thought.
Well, Ron Jesse that worked Mark Washington over there, rather Benny Barnes, and then the next week in St. Louis, Mel Gray gave Mark Washington a lesson. 2nd down and 9. Safety blitz, wide open. Number 83 is Ricky Thompson. He has a Washington first down, and Theismann read it beautiful.
Oh, he did. That was so pretty. He had Cliff Harris coming in from a free safety on a safety blitz. Theismann came back, set strong, very confidently. Ricky Thompson coming in on down at the end, one-on-one on Aaron Kyle. You'll see right here in the middle. There you go, Howard. Take a look at it.
Theismann has consistently maintained that given the opportunity, the chance to prove himself, again, as you look at Ricky Thompson, that quick slant pattern, that he would prove himself. He's gotten the opportunity with Pardee. He's showing maturity. Excellent signal calling.
Ricky Thompson, 1 reception last year for Baltimore, played in only 5 games, gets the Redskins a first down. This is Mike Thomas. Tries to cut it back, gets into trouble, gets inside the 25, pick up of 2, it'll be 2nd and 8.
I'll tell you, he made that 2 on his own. He slithered hither and yon. We look at the elder statesman, Billy Kilmer.
I love him.
I do too.
Oh, what a
marvelous guy.
Yeah. Oh, Billy. Be sure and call Billy if you got anything working, because he's all he can add to it, no matter what it is.
Theismann, of course, drafted originally by Miami back in 71, went up, played in Canada for 3 years. The Redskins acquired him in 74 for a first-round draft pick in 76. He's now their starter. 10th play of the Redskin drive, 2nd down and 9. Inside handoff, Thomas, forget it.
Jethro Pugh
from defensive left tackle. Loss of about a half a yard. It'll be 3rd down and a little more than 9 yards for the Redskins, and Mosley warms up.
Stephen F. Austin is Mark Mosley. He was drafted by the Eagles, 14th round in 1970, cut, picked up by Houston. They let him go, and he wound up here.
How many times have you been in that position, Don?
Well, a lot. That was when I had it was like having an audience with the Pope. That was the only time I got to talk to him was on the sideline.
3rd down, almost 10. And intended for John McDaniel, broken up.
Beautiful.
Aaron Kyle.
He's a good athlete, Frank, this Aaron Kyle. 5'10", got great spring in his legs.
Yeah, a big hitter. He's a big hitter, Don.
And he is strong too. Frank mentioned that. He really does. He's a good athlete, and he made a good defensive play right there.
Here's Mark Mosley now getting ready.
You know, he has an interesting stat. Last year there were only 8 field goals kicked in the National Football League, over 50 yards, and Mosley had 4 of them.
Mosley from Stephen F. Austin, as Don Meredith said, that's in Nacogdoches, Texas, where my wife got a basic training in World War II.
42-yard attempt. No question.
He put it right through there, didn't he?
Mark Mosley night, and Mosley drills another one from 42 yards out.
He's
earlier
terrific.
From 52 yards out. We'll be returning to RFK Stadium in a moment.
They're all here tonight. Second from the right, Joe Califano, Secretary of HEW. Next to him, Ed Muskie, Senator, State of Maine. And then Nancy Dickerson, and then Mrs. Carter, the President. Edward Bennett Williams, brilliant trial attorney, President of the Redskins, and so on down. Hamilton Jordan at the far left, Assistant to the President of the United States, tennis player, inferior.
You say this game hasn't changed? We used to outnumber our audience. Doug Dennison for the Dallas Cowboys. Dennison ups out to the 31-yard line, hustling down there Pete Wysocki to make the stop for the Redskins. And the Redskins held that ball for 5 minutes and 44 seconds. They came away with 3 points. They lead 6-0, 11:06 remaining in the first half.
Which is the key in the statistics. They're now ahead of the Cowboys in possession time and even ahead of them in yardage gained.
And points scored.
Redskins, after 4 games, 7th against the rush in the NFC, 9th against the pass. They've had 15 sacks, 6 interceptions. That's their stats defensively. This is Dorsett. Oh, the little man gets out over the 35, much of it on his own. A gain of 4, it'll be 2nd down and 6.
Kenny Houston had him there for a while.
I tell you, you elude Kenny Houston, you're eluding one of the best one-on-one tacklers in football.
We were talking about it
the other
last
night.
week, who it was, and it was old Walt
Garrison.
Oh,
we named it, but we got about 2,000 telegrams telling us.
Well, that's good. Probably a lot of them are from Walt. He's out there dipping his snuff and telling us things like that.
2nd down, long 6. The ball just over the 35-yard line.
Whoops. That's unusual. Go, Roger, go.
Staubach has a first down.
Was that a funny one? Did
Up
you
to
see
the
that?
45-yard line, stopped by McClinton and Jake Scott.
Had to be a mix-up, Frank, with he and Fitzgerald because the ball was snapped early. Nobody else moved.
I'll tell you, Tank McClinton, number 53, is all over the field tonight.
Fitzgerald calling his own numbers, Andy.
Yeah, sometimes they do that. Old Dave Manders is my center, and old Mandy and I once in a while go up there, and we called everything on 2 too much. You know, you keep saying everything's on 2.
And they'll start to guess with you.
Yeah,
too.
one time Mandy centered it on 1. He says, I thought we ought to change the count.
That's the only one you can remember, Dave.
That's right.
First and 10, the ball at the 45-yard line of the Cowboys. They trail by 6. Tony Dorsett.
Look at that Houston.
Houston. We just spoke of it a moment ago.
That's right. What a play. He read that run, he charged in, and he showed you his ability on the one-on-one tackle against the best breakaway runner in the National Football League.
Loss of 3. It'll be second down, 13.
One of the best trades George Allen ever made.
Well, he traded almost a full football team for him.
It was still a great trade because what he gave away didn't matter. George Allen may not be coaching this team anymore, but he left a legacy of victory.
The ghost is all over the stadium. Some great players he brought here.
I don't believe in ghosts.
George does.
George is not
Second
here.
and 13. Staubach wants the deep one to Tony Hill. And Joe Lavender, fine coverage. Made Tony Hill run into him. Made him change his route. And while they reset, we'll pause 5 seconds and allow our friends all along the ABC line to identify themselves to you. Especially in football. The defense changes for Washington. They bring in the 5th man. Lorch comes in, number 71. Ian Coy Bacon, number 80, the top pass rushers. For Dallas, they bring in Preston Pearson. They put him in the slot to the right. Cowboys trailing the Redskins 6-0, 8:52 remaining in the first half. 3rd and 13. Drew Pearson is shaken loose from the ball, and the man who did the number was Gerard Williams. He got a lot of help, however, from Lamar Parrish. They were covering him like a blanket.
He really did, and Jake Scott even came in there as we look at it isolated.
Oh, he threw this into quite a crowd. There were 3 receivers, and they weren't really spread enough to give him the area he needed to throw this long a pass.
One of the strangest sideline routes I've ever seen. Did you see that twirl around there on the inside?
Danny White is on to punt for Dallas. There's Lamar. Plays some fine football for Cincinnati now in his 9th year. Came with Coy Bacon, 1st-round draft pick next year. Tony Green is deep for Washington. And Danny White hangs it high. Tony Green could do nothing with it. And it'll be 1st and 10 for the Redskins. They'll begin at their own 18-yard line. We'll be right back.
As you look at Tom Landry with his Cowboys, Chet Forty, our director, and yours truly, go right to Dulles Airport from here, board a chartered jet. We'll be in Kansas City tomorrow night with Keith Jackson for the start of the Yankee-Kansas City playoff series. Be with us.
And your luggage will be in Venezuela. On 1st and 10. Mike Thomas tries the right side. No chance there. Benny Barnes makes the stop, or rather Charlie Waters coming up from his strong safety. And they've got some defensive secondary men on these Cowboys. Charlie Waters, Randy Hughes, Cliff Harris. They're almost interchangeable back there.
You know, Randy Hughes really is good. He's not even in there right now, but he's the guy that the Cowboy coaches say there's no question he could play for anybody except Dallas on a regular basis. And they get him in there as much as they can, but another...
Well, if the Cowboy coaches are that right, how come they've won 3 and lost 1 and barely beat the Giants?
Well, if you've got a moment.
Thomas loses a yard. It's 2nd down and 11. Theismann going for Thomas, and again 2 receivers in the same area, and it attracts a host of white jerseys.
I'll tell you, that was a dangerous pass, and D.D. Lewis, the guileful veteran, was right on the scene, prepared to intercept.
The what kind of veteran?
Guileful.
I don't understand that. Does that mean he's swift? Does that mean he is mean? Does that mean he's intense?
No, it means he has the shrewdness that experience brings.
Well, who are you talking to out there? I mean, are you talking to a small group, or are you talking to the whole bunch? Now, lay it down there where they can understand
problem is to educate the masses.
That's not a problem. That's not your problem.
3rd down and 11. Lewis is out. The 6th secondary man now is in for Dallas. And still they get to Theismann. Too tall. Jones has him down at the 2-yard line. Only a 3-man rush, and they could not handle Ed Jones.
They actually had old Larry Cole came in there, Frank. There was 4 in there, but they just gave him a different look.
Now, there was nothing guileful about that, Dan Darrow.
I know it. And Ed Jones doesn't understand what you're talking about, but he said, get the guy with the ball, and he did it.
That's right.
That's it.
And he does that occasionally.
He does.
Hey, mark the progress. Stopped at the 4-yard line. 4th down. In comes Butch Johnson. He'll see a rush. Mike Bragg. Johnson standing at about the 45-yard line. Now Dallas drops 2 men back. They're going to play for the run back.
Good kick.
They get a pressure. Bragg lays it to the 43, and Butch Johnson has time. Good coverage by the Redskins.
Well, they do that well, don't they, Frank?
Mark Murphy down there initially for the Washington Redskins. But Dallas will have good field position. They're inside the 40-yard line of the Redskins. They trail 6-0.
They've always had great special teams at Washington, another Allen legacy. We'll be right back in the national capital.
Thanks to Ed Jones, the Cowboys have good field position. Jones throwing Theismann all the way back to the 4-yard line on a sack. 1st and 10, Dallas inside the 40-yard line of the Redskins. Staubach 5 and 12 thus far, 40 yards. Inside handoff, Dorsett. And Dorsett was able to get away from Dyer and Talbot, but he does not get back to the line of scrimmage. He'll lose a yard and a half. It'll be 2nd down and 11.
Good pressure there that time, Frank. It was a very slow developing play, an inside handoff to Dorsett. But he did make it almost back to the line of scrimmage, but that whole defensive line really came.
Clyde Bacon, 80. Dave Butts, 65.
65.
Both in there.
Yeah, so old Butts was one that's in there. Old Butts had it right there, didn't he?
Old Butts is
old
a big,
Butts was
big
right there.
man.
Yes, sir. Mr. Butts.
2nd down, a little more than 11. 6:25 and the clock is moving, remaining in the 1st half. Tony Hill is in motion. Fake draw by Staubach.
Oh, no,
overthrows
Roger.
Drew Pearson, and he's upended. Hit down there by number 20, Joe Lavender, but overthrown as Roger smelled the pressure coming from number 80, Coy Bacon.
Yeah. Tell you, Joe Lavender, as we look at it again, Don, has been giving great coverage tonight. He has great speed.
Yeah, but Frank hit it, I think, Howard. That ball was just, I mean, he was open down there, and Bacon made a move.
That's true on that play, but he stayed with him throughout the evening. He's the guy who wears specs. He's the guy who broke one against Dallas a few years back. Remember in Philadelphia?
Right.
3rd and 11. Pearson left. Tony Hill right. And Dupre opens up into the slot. Going for Tony Hill.
Oh, that's way over again.
Overthrown. Coverage by Lamar Parrish, but the ball was poorly thrown.
Well,
that was, I think that was really a key defensive performance by Washington.
You're right.
They had it on the 40-yard line. They had 3 shots. They wound up on the 41. Roger overthrew 2 balls. They gave it to their best runner, Dorsett, and he lost a yard.
And this crowd is going crazy. They're looking up at our broadcast booth, holding up the number 1 finger. We're number 1. They got a long way to go in this game, and they got a long season to go.
Tony Green, he is awaiting the kick of Danny White. Tony Green standing on his own 10-yard line. Danny White, of course, will angle for the out of bounds. Oops. And he does not get it. Touchback, it'll come out to the 20. Washington will have a 1st and 10, their own 20-yard line. By the way, we'll be in Miami next week. Miami and Cincinnati, and you may have checked out in your listings that it was an 8:30 start, but we are going to be that game has been rescheduled. It'll go again at 9 o'clock Eastern time. That's next Monday night, Miami and Cincinnati.
Cincinnati will have a new look. Disappointing thus far. Bill Johnson fired today by the Bengals as the head coach, replaced by Homer Rice, who's been the athletic director and head coach at Rice University.
1st and 10 Washington. 6 minutes remaining in the first half. They lead 6-0. This is Mike Thomas. Upended after a gain of a couple. It'll be 2nd down and 8.
You know, Frank, apart from a few runs, they haven't used Riggins that much. And I'd like to see them try the simple swing pass to John because of his ability to break loose in that situation, Don.
Let's get a messenger and send that down to the bench.
I told you last week it's time we started doing that.
I'm really impressed with that defensive stance they'd had that a while ago. When it's on the 40-yard line, man, they're throwing back. That's pretty good.
And they press you, Don. All right.
You bet.
2nd down and 8. All inside the 23. Riggins gets the call. He runs right into Bob Brunick, and that could be the reason.
Yeah, that might have something to do with it. It's really awfully tough when you're blocking on him. Now, that's Bob Kuzel. Am I pronouncing that right?
Kazil.
Kazil. That's close. The center there took over from Lenny Haas this year, but it's basically his responsibility to cover up that middle when the middle linebacker comes in there. And Brunick, although he's not an old veteran, he's really caught on fairly quickly, as they say down there. So he's doing a pretty good job in the middle.
3rd down, 8. Loss of about a half a yard. The ball now almost back to the 22. Theismann fires over the middle.
There's all kind of a flag goes down.
The flag goes down. The attempt to Riggins. Meanwhile, Tom Henderson really popped Theismann on the blitz. But the flag is down for the defensive play against Riggins.
I guess they're going to call it against Cliff Harris, number 43.
Defensive pass interference, number 43, 1st down.
All right.
1st down, Washington. Call going against Cliff Harris.
Can you imagine getting hit in Harris by the backside and Randy White on the front side on that thing and still have an incompletion? Somebody ought to throw a flag for that.
Ball at the 27-yard line.
4:36 left in the half. Washington leading 6-0. 2 Mosley field goals.
John McDaniels, number 86, top of your screen. This is Thomas in motion. Quickly over the middle, wide open is John McDaniel. He gets the 1st down out to the 40-yard line, and this is the kind of passes you have to throw against Dallas.
Nice pattern again, Frank. Theismann rolled out, a slight rollout, hit McDaniel on a quick slant in the middle. They had a guy in motion, throws that secondary just for a second.
Frank Grant checks back in. Ball marked inside the 41-yard line. Seconds ticking away. We'll be inside 4 minutes before this play ticks off. All this action in the first half. Halftime highlights, of course, coming your way from yesterday's play. John Riggins, another big opening. And Riggins has another 1st down. He is into Dallas territory. Now they move it back where it'll be close to a 1st down. I think he does have it, though.
That time, Kuzil did exactly the job that he's supposed to do that Dunn was talking about less than 2 minutes ago.
Yep, he closed out Brunick, but also you had Hermling on. Watch Hermling over here. He kicks out. There's a good stand-up block right in there by Ron Saul on Randy White. Comes back in the middle. That's Cliff Harris. When you check those secondary guys, and they're the ones that are making the tackle, you know that somebody's not doing something up there in that front line.
You saw Bob Brunick, number 53. He was reading a key, defensive key. He took himself out of that play.
Maybe so. Ron Saul, as you said, Don, made a great block there.
He sure did. And Hermling actually did a good job on Harvey Martin. He kicked him out, too.
It's been the story of long drives by Redskins. They've come away with 2 field goals, a 42-yard field goal and a 52-yard field goal. Thomas is in motion. And it's complete. It goes to Ricky Thompson. No, he stays out of bounds.
Yeah. He cut that one a little bit too close to the sideline. A good route, thrown really very crisply.
Oh, he zips it.
Meantime, Theismann is quarterbacking an excellent game.
Well, I don't blame Ricky for complaining here a little bit.
Well, it was awfully close, Frank. It looks like to me he did catch it in there, but you see that left leg that did come back out on that sideline.
Second leg was out.
If he's not pushed out by the momentum of that defensive back, he's out. The back didn't get there until he was already out of bounds.
Second down, 10.
Good call.
Thomas again in motion. Riggins tries to go up the middle, has to move to the outside, and gets a yard and a half on his own, and they're tough yards.
Jones should have had him for a 2-yard loss. Randy White had him for a yard loss. He got rid of both of those guys and picked up 4.
Told you he's tough in one-on-one situations. Hard man to bring down.
Who'd you get to run that message down to the bench? Who did that?
Third down now and 6. You're looking at the clock.
I'm looking around for someone.
Both teams 3 timeouts. Ball just inside the 46-yard line of the Dallas Cowboys. Ricky Thomas spread wide to the right. There he is, top of your screen. John McDaniel out of your shot to the left. Theismann either missed the handoff or was going to bootleg it. In any event, down he goes. Ed Jones there to make sure he didn't go any further.
There's that Randy Hughes I mentioned earlier. He was right in there too. Frank came in that third situation. You had Tom Henderson and Jones. They read that one very well. 4th down and long.
And out comes Mike Bragg, and deep goes Butch Johnson for Dallas.
I'm very frankly surprised that Dallas has not put any points on the board. I'm very impressed with the defensive unit of Washington so far.
Bragg puts a big foot into it. Burkett's called for to slow down the rushing Redskins, and it does not work, and the Redskins put the Cowboys in the hole back at the 6-yard line. Don Harris hustling down there just at the 2-minute warning. A 47-yard punt by Mike Bragg.
Yeah, dance on them,
6-0 Washington. We'll be right back for the final 2 minutes of the first half. Turned on Washington, D.C. They've been turned on by a football team that's been changed around considerably. A new quarterback is operating. He made a few starts last year, Joe Theismann, but he has taken over, taken charge. He's the leading passer in the NFC. And defensively, right now, I think the accolade should go to the defensive unit of the Washington Redskins. They have played superbly against the #1 offensive team in the NFL, the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas begins with 1:57 remaining in the first half at their own 6-yard line. Pearson in motion, Tony Dorsett. And Dorsett gets a little breathing room, moving crisply for 5 yards. It'll be 2nd and 5. Ball at the 11-yard line, hit there by Dave Butts and Ron McDowell sliding along the line. Andrew Frederick at number 71 is doing a good job for Dallas. They would really like to have the big man in there. Of course, that would be Rayfield Wright. Rayfield still suffering from a knee problem that happened over a year ago. 2nd down and 5. Newhouse given the ball, and Newhouse goes for a ride out over the 15-yard line, close to a first down.
That punt put them back in a position, Frank, where they really can't go into their wide open 2-minute offense that Dallas does run very well. And so they are kind of fighting the clock. They're going to have a measurement for the first down situation.
You know, I think, quite frankly, they're impressed with Washington. I think they felt they were going to have a much easier time with them, and they are only down by 6. They don't want to get in too much trouble here with 1:10 remaining in the first half, so they're being a little cautious, and you saw how much on 3rd down it is for a first down.
I don't know why they think they have a much easier time, Gift. They came in at 3-1. Washington's at 4-0. Washington is a fired-up team, I admit, but they've got a solid defense, which you've already said is the story of the game thus far.
I think really more than the records, Howard, these two teams really do play well against one another, and they do have exciting games.
You look at that traditional rivalry. It's 20-14-2. Frank?
One of the better ones.
3rd and a little bit. Sauback on his own, first down, runs into Tank McClinton. The clock continues to move. We're inside 1 minute. Dallas has 3 timeouts.
That play would have to be sent in from the sidelines as far as I'm concerned.
Seconds ticking away. If Dallas had any plans to put points in the scoreboard, they obviously would be hurrying out of the huddle. for using one of the 3 timeouts.
So Roger's stats, 5 for 14. That's not a typical Roger Staubach night. 24 seconds to go.
Baseball and football highlights coming up at halftime, so stay with us. Newhouse gets the call. And bowls his way up to the 24-yard line, and that should do it for the first half. There it is, the end of the first half. Washington leading 6-0. Stay with us for the halftime activities. Highlights, baseball, football. Christopher, Douglas, Max, Rory, supervised by their big brother Michael Kennedy. This is the booth of Mrs. Robert F. Kennedy. Her late husband, of course, the stadium named after him. Ready now for the second half, and deep is Butch Johnson for the Dallas Cowboys. Mark Mosley, who has provided all the scoring. A 42-yard field goal, a 52-yard field goal, hangs it up high. Butch Johnson bobbles the ball at the 15-yard line and gets it back at the 24-yard line.
Little sticky there, Don. Little sticky.
That could have been a biggie.
Offensively, we anticipate Roger Staubach, of course, at quarterback. Tony Dorsett, Robert Newhouse at the setbacks. Drew Pearson, Tony Hill, wide receivers, Billy Joe Dupree. The offensive line, Don calls it your Irish line. Fitzgerald, Rafferty, Scott, Frederick, and Donovan. 1st and 10, the ball at the 24-yard line. The Redskins remain intact defensively. Good, hard-hitting football game. Dorsett adjusts to the tailback spot and gets the handoff. Looks for an opening and finds one and gets out to the 30-yard line.
Once again, Tank McClinton, number 53, right in there.
Along with Kenny Houston, Dorsett getting 6. It'll be 2nd down and 4.
They forced Dallas into those passing situations in the first half. Roger was not as sharp as he usually is, was a little bit high, and therefore they closed him off pretty well. You see the defensive linebacking core, Dusick, McClinton, and Hamburger.
And the secondary, Joe Lavender is the man that Staubach has been working on. He plays over on the right side. 2nd down and 4. Staubach can't find the open receiver. Goes to Robert Newhouse, and he does not hold on. It would have been a 1st down.
Hit him in the bad place.
You don't often see Dallas receivers covered that well. Certainly Staubach doesn't. With all the time in the world, he couldn't find a man to throw to. Finally, Newhouse came back. He was open, but the unfortunate miss. There he is, Joe Theismann.
I think one of the complaints that when I complain about the coach calling the play, it's if the quarterback calls a play and he calls a pass route, he knows really what his #1 receiver is, and I think he zeroes in on his keys much better. Therefore, he knows who to go to second.
From the shotgun on 3rd down and 4, the ball at the 30-yard line. The motion man, Preston Pearson. Screen pass across the opposite side, and a good play gets the 1st down. Pearson coming all the way around, and a flag is down right on the sideline. He came around in motion.
Carl Lorch came in there, number 71. He tried to pick up Pearson when he came back through the backfield. Just didn't quite have the speed to get out there. Pearson was out in front, picked it up. And let's see what the call is against Washington.
A big play for Dallas. Had they been halted on that 3rd down play, once again, Washington's defense would have remained supreme, as it has during the game. Look at it again.
Butts and Lorch both read it pretty well, 65 and 71, but the ball was well thrown, a little lob pass over, and Pearson picked it up, picked up that 1st down. So you tag that penalty on top of it. Dallas now is in Washington territory with a 1st down.
At the 48-yard line, the penalty assessed against number 71, Lorch, Carl Lorch. Pearson, top of your screen. Tony Hill, flank to the right. Newhouse, inside call, spins and twists, and he gets to the 43. About a pickup of 4, 6, well, getting 4, it'll be 2nd and 6.
That's another evidence of his improvement. The way he spins and whirls and forces yardage when there is none apparently to be made.
And when you look at it, that was Kenny Houston that really made the tackle. So I'd go back in there and I'd say, okay, Houston is coming in from that strong safety, making the tackles. I try to work my tight end in the Houston's area.
With play action.
Good point.
2nd and 6. Robert Newhouse, the flag is down, and Newhouse has the first down.
Got to be holding, Frank.
Joe Lavender corrals Newhouse, but the flag is down at the 40-yard line.
Could have been Donovan. I'm not sure.
In the area, Don.
I think it was Donovan, but I don't know. It was over that left side.
Preliminary indication of holding. We'll get the call in a moment. 13-16 remaining here in the second quarter.
Number 68 offense holding.
Herbert
Second
Scott.
down.
I missed
left
it.
guard.
Missed it by 1. I knew it was over there. It's Donovan and Scott.
2nd down, 16. The ball moved back to the 46-yard line of the Dallas Cowboys.
What a big play that is, Frank, because they had a first down there. So now it's 2nd of the whole bunch. And they see him go into that, trying to pick up at least half of it in this situation, and force a 3rd down and 4 or 5.
And not a bad down for Washington to come with the blitz. 2nd and long, a good down. They like to do it. They have in the past. They used to send a man named Jack Pardee. Staubach.
Too
A lot of time goes to Tony Hill. He makes a great catch at the 32-yard line. First down.
Unbelievable catch.
And it was a catch.
Oh.
Officials signaled it immediately. A remarkable play.
He could be hurt on that play. Looks like he came down right on his shoulders. The ball was thrown, and he's pretty well covered. Look at that. That's pretty good defensive coverage. You see that, oh my gosh, it came right down on his head and his shoulder.
It appeared the ball would be overthrown,
I
but
thought it
not
was,
with this
yeah.
young man.
He's working on Joe Lavender. He turned Lavender around, but Lavender's still in pretty good position. You see Jake Scott there too. Lavender came under him. He's down, and we're going to be back just in a few minutes, and let's hope Tony Hill is okay.
Tony Hill shaken up, but apparently all right. He gave Dallas a first down on a 23-yard Staubach reception. The ball at the 32-yard line of Washington. Dallas trailing 6-0. We're in the 3rd quarter with 12:40 remaining. Pearson in motion. Handoff. Tony Dorsett. And Dorsett ambles down at the 27-yard line. A gain of 5. It'll be 2nd and 5.
And you see 65, Dave Butts once again in there. He's done a good job tonight, but this time Dallas is moving. The key play in my book, not just the sensational pass by Tony Hill, but the 3rd down, beautifully lofted screen pass that brought them the first down that continued the drive.
2nd and 5. The blitz is coming. They pick it up.
Right
Drew
there.
Pearson in front of Lamar Parrish. And when you come with the blitz, that means you're going to get single coverage in the secondary. That time Dallas picked it up, and Pearson was working all alone against Parrish.
From that situation, Frank, he put Newhouse up in a slot position, and they're really ready for that. He had one-on-one coverage over here. Pretty hard to cover anybody. Good route run by Pearson. Ball was right there on the money. Rogers getting his sights a little bit better now. He was a little bit high in the first half. He's coming down a little bit.
He's quarterbacking this drive beautifully, and as Frank mentioned, you saw 59, Brad Dusek, move up into that line.
Tony Hill back in the lineup. He had the wind shaken from him. His 1st and 10. Dallas, they're at the 12-yard line of the Redskins. The blitz again.
Oh, yeah.
And Newhouse to the inside, and a flag is down.
They might call it on Pearson going toward the line of scrimmage a little bit too early.
It's down here where you don't want to make the errors.
Oh, it's against Washington.
And it goes against Washington. And we would suspect that Dallas will take that because they'll get the
Saves
5
the
yards
down.
and they'll save the down.
Yeah. You know, they read. Here he is.
Offside defense, number 55, first down.
Chris Hamburger, the weak side linebacker, had stepped across the line of scrimmage. 1st and 5.
They've done a pretty good job of really handling Dorsett. You know, Dorsett is a kind of a big play guy. He's made some yardage, but he really hasn't broken anything so far tonight. So I think, again, the defense of Washington's really done it.
You know, St. Louis did it last week too, Don, but he went bananas in the 4th quarter, and that's how they came out of that with a victory. We can hold him for a long time, but they try to give the ball to him 20, 25 times. This is Dorsett.
Whoops. Now, I'd be doggone down. There's no way you can make a move like that. Just no way.
He was clearly pinned for a loss, and just as clearly he was determined not to take a loss. He made the move Dunn referred to.
Was that Coy Bacon?
Look at it
Let's
again.
take a look again. I think it's Coy Bacon, number 80, comes here. Watch
right.
now. Look at the angle that Bacon has on him.
Dusek
And then right there, he just moves in there, and you got McClinton that comes in there, the middle linebacker, to put it on. But that should have been 4 yards back.
Dusek had him contained, so he couldn't turn the corner. Then Dusek came back, missed the tackle on the move you described, and finally it was Tank McClinton with the tackle.
Gains 2. It was 2nd down and 3. Newhouse bowling up the middle. He is close to a first down. Hit by Dave Butts. The entire Washington line collapsing on Newhouse.
Did I say Dusek? Dusek.
You could have. You pronounce a lot of words funny. I don't know.
Ernie Dusek was an outfielder with the St. Louis Cardinals.
I knew that.
An old friend of yours.
I knew that. Didn't want to say anything about it.
Short of the first down by less than a yard.
All right, Frank, you're going to give it to Newhouse, you're going to give it to Dorothy.
Or are you going to throw for the 6th? Third down.
Not right now. They're going to make that first down.
81 is Jackie Smith. Bottom of your screen, offensive line for Dallas. Dorsett gets the first down.
And then some.
Yeah, they really play those odds when they get down in there. Very rarely will you see them do something that's really against the grain of statistics. They say, okay, it's third down and a little bit, and I got 2 shots at that first down. I'm not going to waste one of them on a pass.
It's nice to see Jackie Smith in there. For years, the practically perfect tight end. A St. Louis Cardinal. Born and bred, really. But when finally let go, yes, they've got the first down. You were going to say, Don?
I'm just going to say, Howard, I think it's really very ironic the fact that Jackie Smith is now with Dallas, because
he used to beat Dallas.
And he used to have such a violent competition going with Dallas, with particularly Cliff Harris and Charlie Waters back there coming out of the backfield. I've seen them just...
There's no bitterness in that man. He's a decent soul as we look at the trouble Jack Pardee. But if there could be bitterness in him, he resented St. Louis letting him go.
First and goal. Ball at the 2-yard line. The stacked backfield, Dorsett, Preston Pearson, Robert Newhouse. 10th play of this drive. Preston Pearson. And Kenny Houston turned it back from the touchdown, I do believe, right about the 1-foot mark.
We've seen Kenny Houston do that before, but we saw him do it on the final or 4th down against Walt Garrison and save a victory for Washington.
The man at the bottom, Tank McClinton, Harold McClinton, getting up slowly. He's been busy tonight.
He's having one of the best games I've ever seen him have, Frank. He's been in almost every play.
I think the thing you'll see Dallas do right now, you can look at that on the sideline and know pretty well he's serious about this. He wants 6, so they're not going to do anything fancy or crazy. They're going to go right straight at them. They got 4 downs to do it.
Dorsett, no. Tony Dorsett popped at the line of scrimmage. He might even lost a little bit. Tank McClinton again, and Jake Scott and Brad Dusick all there.
Just got to give that defense a lift, sit there and hold them. That's twice they've done it. Now you're coming up to the 3rd down. There's just no movement on that defensive line. You see a real good surge in there by Brad Dusick, Frank, as you pointed out. And McClinton comes over from his middle linebacker position. They've got him stopped.
First guy who ever told me about Tank McClinton, Frank, was your old teammate Sam Hutt. What a game he's having.
3rd and goal. The ball now back at the 1-yard line.
Yeah, go to the outside.
And Dorsett, and this time he loses a yard.
They should go to the outside.
Harold McClinton once again.
You won a football game, this is it. Jack Pardee, not relaxing, of course.
Oh, I can't believe they're doing this. I'll tell you, I don't believe it. And McClinton's coming in there in the middle, but they stacked it up. Number 1, I don't know why they didn't go to the outside, give a guy with that kind of moves and that kind of speed to make some moves on the outside.
The fans here are going crazy.
They bring out
going crazy.
Dallas brings out Seption. Obviously, Tom wants not to come away with nothing. Seption has had his troubles this year. He's only 1 of 4. This will be a 20-yard attempt. Charlie Waters holding. Boy, that could really fire up the Skins. Dallas is on the scoreboard. But a great goal line stand of the Washington Redskins, and the crowd roars their approval.
That could be it, Frank. They didn't take it in when they had a chance.
We'll be back. It's a beautiful fall night here in the East, the nation's capital, 64 degrees, and a whale of a football game going on before a packed JFK Stadium. The Dallas Cowboys held the football for 7 minutes and 19 seconds. They ran off 13 plays. They had a first and goal inside the 2-yard line. They had to settle for 3 points as a great defensive effort by the Redskins, spearheaded by Tank McClinton, turned them back. Tony Green is deep for Washington. Raphael Seption will kick. Ike Forte. And Forte out over the 25-yard line to the 22, and Washington has got to be charged up, Don. You know what this does to a team when they come up with a goal line stand. I used to come back on the field when Robustelli and Cap Cabbage and Modulewski and Greer would do that, and they did it over and over, and they would tell you that you were in control of the game.
And they would tell you, just hold them, Giffer, just hold them.
Look at that shot right there. That guy's going to tell you one thing. He said, look, the whole stands cheered because they only came away with 3 points. So that tells you a big story. But watch Dallas's defense and see if they can come back and hold them.
Reagan's on his own, gets out to the 31-yard line, gain of 4.
I think it's a critical series of downs right now because
Washington, yes indeed.
Very critical as Dallas defense now needs to stop them to show the other defense that they're good too, because Washington defense has done everything you could ask of them. They bend, but they what?
Break.
They don't break.
Like the Cleveland Browns this year, despite 2 tough losses.
Washington.
Second down and 6. Riggins gets a call again out to the 34-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 3, and there'll be a tough 3. Randy White at the bottom of that pile, getting help from safety man Charlie Waters.
Don't know why he ran up the middle, Frank, because I think it's really, he picked up actually, 3 yards on that play. Well, I shouldn't say that. That's as good a place to go as any place, I guess.
Greg McCrary, or rather Jim Harlan, is the extra tight end for the Washington Redskins. 3rd down, maybe a little less than 3. The ball just short of the 35-yard line. It's 6-3 Washington over Dallas. Bitterly fought game. Mike Thomas. Mike Thomas has the first down.
Oh, what a nice 3rd down call. What a nice 3rd down move by Thomas.
A big play, as Don indicated. A big series of downs. Washington's task now to hold possession.
The thing that they did, they came back and they told Dallas in the way they acted, said, look, we're not afraid of you. And that's a big thing that the world champions have when they go in, is a little bit of that intangible thing of saying, hey, we're the best. And now a team that stops them down there on the 2-yard line, then comes back, first series of downs, picks up a first down. It's got to be a big lift for Washington.
Big block by Dan Nugent against Jethro Pugh. That made it possible. 1st and 10, 39-yard line.
Look at Thomas.
Reagan shakes off one tackler and cuts back, and Reagan gets out to the 45-yard line. He gained 6.
That was a fine run. Again, breaking an attempted one-on-one tackle.
He gained 10, actually. Look at what you got. Thomas Henderson, numbers 56 back there, that missed him. Had him back behind the line of scrimmage. Riggins does it on his own, really. Look, he had 4 guys hit him. Finally gets knocked down, I think, by Aaron Kyle, who came from the other side. Good move by Riggins. 2nd
down and 4. The Redskins battling the Dallas Cowboys and beating them really at their own game.
That's
Great goal line stand.
That's right.
Oh, 83 is Ricky Thompson. He has another Redskin first down, 39-yard line of Dallas.
I love it.
That was a great play selection, I'll tell you.
Execution was even better than the selection.
You think so?
Yep, I do. It was a nice call. 2nd down, it's a good chance to gamble. But mainly he put it right in there. Ricky Thompson made the move onto the inside in front of Aaron Kyle. Picked up a big first down. They moved that ball 30-something yards in about 4 plays.
Frank Grant moves in, has a word with Joe Theismann, drops off a play. Quick toss, Mike Thomas.
Good move.
Thomas cutting back against the grain. Gets down to the 33-yard line. He gets 7. It'll be 2nd and 3.
We had a referee down because Fugit's laying on top of him, number 84. He just done a side back there. God love him, bless his heart.
Referee down is
Joe Connell.
Joe Connell.
Yeah.
Who fell on him, Don Fugit?
Well, Fugit hit him, I think it was.
Yeah, 84.
84 in your program.
He's a game umpire. And
Amherst.
now he's being assisted. Not all that safe out there. We'll pause 5 seconds to allow our stations to identify themselves. The president joining a jam-packed RFK Stadium tonight along with his wife. They're watching the Dallas Cowboys and the Washington Redskins battle back and forth. No touchdowns scored. If you'd have told me this was going to happen with 4 minutes remaining in the third quarter, there would be no touchdowns, I would say no, it couldn't happen. The number 1 team in the NFL on offense, the Cowboys.
Oh, good
Washington
play.
a second, and here
Good
comes
play.
Riggins. John Riggins playing like a possessed man tonight.
That's the way to use John Riggins, Don.
I'm glad they finally got your message to the bench because they did do it on a reverse. The thing that you mentioned, Frank, which I think is important, that's the kind of play that really breaks up the Dallas Keys. Everything is very coordinated there. Aaron Kyle missed him. D.D. Lewis had to come from the other side. I believe that was with Charlie Waters or Cliff Harris. I couldn't see who it was on the inside. But now these guys have put a heck of an offensive drive together.
First and 10, 13-yard line of Dallas. Riggins ran right over the top of Kyle. Play action fake.
Look out, Joe.
Harvey Martin misses and Theismann gets it off, and it's to Frank Grant.
He caught it anyway, but they're going to call it on Kyle for interference.
Flag is down. Aaron Kyle covering Frank Grant, and he was all over him.
It all goes back to the goal line stance of the defense.
Defensive pass interference, number 25.
He might still be rocky from that shot he took from Riggins.
No, it has nothing to do with that, Frank. It's a psychological thing. These guys are good enough to stop Washington really anytime that they want to. The thing that happened is the other guys got down there, they stopped them when they had to. Shows a little bit more character in this group. And by golly, they've taken that thing and just driven it all the way down the field.
First and goal, the 8-yard line.
Superb play selection all the way by Joe Theismann.
Everyone in the stadium is on their feet. 3:36 remaining in the third quarter. The Redskins leading 6-3. Theismann has the time. Going for Fugit. Had to overthrow.
You know what? That's the first time I've seen Harvey Martin even close to Theismann. And he got there too late that time.
Charlie Waters picking up Fugit in the end zone. Theismann, good call here. He's been running the ball. Now he changes it up with play action. And he had to overthrow this because Charlie Waters was coming in to pick it off.
Nothing Fugit would rather do than score against his former teammates.
Indeed. Signed out his option, signed here in 75.
At Amherst, they remember.
He has a few other interests, but maybe tonight you're right.
Second and goal. The ball at the 8. Mike Thomas. Little delay play, fooled no one, particularly number 75, Jethro Pugh, and there's a loss of 2 yards.
Doesn't make much difference. They've already made their statement. They've taken it and driven it all the way down the field. If he doesn't do something silly like throw an interception, they're going to have another field goal right here.
Ricky Thompson comes in. Ricky Thompson, the acquisition from Baltimore. He's had a fine night. Drops off the play with Joe Theismann. It's third and goal. The ball is just inside the 10. Seconds ticking away. 2 minutes and 50 seconds remaining in the third quarter.
There it is.
Theismann. And almost picked off and then almost caught by number 86, John McDaniel. After all of Addison complete, and out comes Mark Mosley.
Dallas showed some character, too, on that stand. They didn't let them get in. Washington had driven almost the length of the football field. We have a great football game here tonight. 2 stubborn, determined, and often brilliant teams.
It's easier to show character when you have a basic, fundamental
27-yard attempt. It's good. Mosley perfect on the night. A 42-yard field goal, a 52-yard field goal, and now a 27-yard field goal to make it 9-3 over Dallas. We'll be right back. And that's the story. We have no touchdowns with 2:40 remaining in the third quarter in a bitterly fought game. These two classic rivals that have been dueling for the Eastern Division Championship for so many years, Dallas and Washington. Butch Johnson is deep along with Doug Dennis, and Mark Mosley will kick off for Washington. Washington used up 5 minutes with 11 plays, and like Dallas, had to settle for 3 points. Mosley riffles it high. Butch Johnson from his 12. Johnson carries a couple of Redskins out over the 25 to the 26, where it'll be 1st and 10.
That was pure individual effort by Butch Johnson.
You're right, Howard. That was nice. He just did it on his own.
Should have been felled at the 20, but stubbornly moved ahead.
I'm really interested to see what they're going to do with this series of down. We talk about Washington, and I think the importance of what they did offensively after that great defensive stand was a real key. The Dallas offense, the pressure's on you. And that man right there, Mr. Clean, you better do something for me.
He's had the pressure before, the Super Bowl champion quarterback. Newhouse rolls up to the 30, gets 4 yards. It'll be 2nd and 6.
Kenny Houston again in a one-on-one situation. Did you see 27 knock him to the ground?
Yeah, I did. I also see him committing very early to that move in there, so I'd like to see a play pass, fake in there to Newhouse, and see Kenny coming right up in the middle, and man, he makes a hit on you, doesn't he? And then use number 89, Billy Joe Dupree, to run that right down the middle on a quick look in.
2nd down, 6. The ball just over the 30-yard line. Staubach wants Tony Hill, has him. And Tony Hill steps back, rather Drew Pearson. Drew Pearson makes the completion and the 1st down at the 40-yard line.
He didn't use the look in. He went to the quick square out.
Well, that's all. He got him a 1st down, but it's just something to file back there in your head that you got the strong safety making a lot of tackles right at the line of scrimmage or right beyond the line of scrimmage, so just remember that. Go it back in there, set it up, come back in there, catch him with a play fake later on.
This is why, for all time, you're my quarterback.
1st and 10 Dallas, the ball at their own 40-yard line. Newhouse will get called for illegal motion as Dorsett goes over the left side.
I don't blame him. He started a little too early.
Both these teams will have a tough time coming off this game. The Cowboys will play the Giants in Dallas. That game, by the way, will start at 3 o'clock down there. Maybe some of you might have thought it was going to be at 4. It had been originally listed that way. And, of course, Washington goes to Detroit. That's next Sunday for both of these ball clubs.
Don, I have another thought.
All right, let's talk about it.
In our opening game, Baltimore at Dallas,
Number 44 offense, illegal motion, 1st down.
There's the call. We saw Staubach go to Dorsett coming out of the backfield, and he was absolutely brilliant making yardage.
Tony Dorsett, or rather Robert Newhouse, has gone out of the game. Now he's back in, and Dorsett has gone out, and Doug Dennison is in. That is the adjustment. Dorsett holding his thigh when he left the game. 1st and 15.
No, nothing there.
Newhouse.
Look at that. Look at that move. Oh,
Robert Newhouse wants to win it on his own.
He really did. And he can't throw to Dorsett now, who's temporarily at least sidelined, holding his thigh, as Frank said. But it's a good idea.
Newhouse gets 6. It's 2nd down and 8. And you saw an attempted block by the man in front of that pattern. He could not throw the block because it would have been a clip. He very wisely pulled up. And Newhouse gets 6 out to the 41-yard line, where it's 2nd down, second down and 9.
Did you say Dorsett went out with is he hurt, Frank?
He went out limping slightly, Don, and Doug Dennison came in.
Okay.
Tank McClinton out getting a rest, a well-deserved one.
Look here, 3rd, and they're back in the shotgun. 2nd, I mean.
Here comes the blitz. They pick it up. Flag is down.
Flag is down, too.
Tony Hill has the ball. He's in a mix-up with Joe Lavender, but a flag is down back at the line of scrimmage.
And I think it's against Washington.
Personal foul against Washington.
That would be tagged on, wouldn't it, at the end of that play, Frank? That Tony Hill is pretty. I like to watch it.
Have a false start, number 71 on the offense. Personal foul. 15-yard penalty only.
That's the new rule. It would have been offsetting a year ago. There was a call against Andy Frederick on the right side. There was a personal foul against Kenny Houston against Washington. The penalty will be assessed against Washington.
Ooh.
And that will give Dallas a 1st and 10 at the 44-yard line of Washington.
That's a biggie.
It sure was.
Personal foul on defense. By rule, we only penalize the 15-yard penalty. First down.
7 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Seesaw back and forth, and neither team can get in for the 6.
Sooner or later, one will.
We've had 4 field goals. Tony Hill. Drew Pearson to the left. The tight end Dupree. Bottom of your screen on the offensive line. Doug Dennison. Oh, and he is nailed by the number 71, Carl Lorch. That takes care of the third quarter. You're watching another exclusive of ABC Sports. With the score, Washington 9, Dallas 3. We'll return for the fourth quarter in just a moment. The nation's capital. And it's turned on tonight by a group of battling Redskins going against the Super Bowl champion Dallas Cowboys, the undefeated Redskins. With victories over New England, the Eagles, St. Louis, and the New York Jets. And there's our Goodyear blimp overhead looking down. Bill Sullivan, our cameraman up there, flying around with Patrick Henry in the Goodyear blimp America. Beautiful night for football, and this is what football really is all about. 2 hard-hitting teams, clean, tough football, and it's close. 9-3, the Redskins over the Cowboys. Dallas has a 2nd down and 9, 44-yard line of the Redskins, and here comes Doug Dennison.
Really a nice play, Frank. 2nd down and 9 to go a straight handoff to Doug Dennison and pick up about 7 yards. That's pretty nice. That puts them in a very competitive position on their 3rd down situation.
Doug Dennison will fool you. A backup back. And yet a man with great drive in his legs for short distances. Kutztown State.
Kutztown.
3rd down, I'll call it a long 2. Tony Dorsett, bruised calf. He'll be out for this series of plays, we've been informed. Dennison, in his 5th year, came as a free agent in '74, has only carried the ball 12 times this year coming into tonight's game. Sauback on the 3rd down.
Oh, no. Look at that defense go.
Dave Butts. Ron McDowell was also there, as was Coy Bacon. Butts gets the sack.
I'll tell you, between Butts and McDowell, because they haven't been able to run at that side at all, and Tank McClinton, number 53, what a defense.
Don't you wonder now, which is always so easy in retrospect, when the Cowboys are sitting on a 3rd and 2, when they go to that type of pattern, which is back of pocket pass. We were talking about Grogan. One of the things that Grogan does on a rollout pass, he gives you that option of running or throwing. Staubach can do that for Cowboys.
That's the way Grogan won for the Pats yesterday in a thrilling late 2nd victory over San Diego.
Danny White will punt. Tony Green is standing at the 10-yard line of the Redskins. White angles to his left, looking for the sideline. Green will have an opportunity from the 7. Oh, and he is nailed. D.D. Lewis hustling down there. Number 50 made the pop, and Tony Green is down at the 13-yard line.
You got to wonder a little bit, Frank, why he would choose to field that ball as close as he did, but we'll find that out when we come back.
We're back, and Tony Green should not have taken the punt on his 7. Looking at Tom Landry, here's the punt again. Green should have let it go into the end zone, which by all percentage odds it probably would have done. But the rookie has gotten perhaps a touch overconfident. He's broken one for 80 yards. He's broken one for 90. He broke one for 40 to 45 when he got injured, and he thought maybe he could do it again.
There have been no turnovers so far by the Washington Redskins.
1st and 10, Washington, their own 13-yard line. 13:30 remains in the game. Riggins gets the call.
Flag up.
Flag is down, and Bob Bruning stepped across there to make the stop for Dallas. Motion call, and it goes against Washington.
Oh, boy.
This man's having quite a night. Big Dave Butts. I say big, and I'm not understating it because he's 6'7", a 285-pounder.
He's actually had a good season, too, Frank. He's played very well in all of their ball games. He's the guy that's been the hottest man in the defensive line.
Number 75, offense, illegal motion, first down.
Terry Hermerling, who has been doing a very creditable job tonight against the big man for Dallas, Harvey Martin. First and 15.
Washington in trouble. Let's see what Theismann does to get out.
Theismann, man wide open is Ricky Thompson.
Oh, what a nice throw, too, Frank. That ball from your own end zone, right on a clothesline, 35 yards out. He hits him right in the numbers. Theismann, you have learned something in the offseason, my man.
He learned something in Canada, too. He just never had the opportunity he's getting this year.
Now, Howard, we've seen him before. He just never has been able to do this. He has really got, I don't know what it is, that intangible thing of confidence or whatever, but that ball hits right between the 8 and the 3, and it was on a clothesline for about 35 yards. First down.
The ball at the 35-yard line. Mike Thomas. Thomas gets out close to the 40-yard line. A gain of 5. It'll be second down and 5. Tony Dorsett, as we told you, bruised the left calf of his leg. We understand he is able to come back in. Ricky Thompson having a big night. A wide receiver for Washington. He was the one we told you came from Baltimore. Played in only 5 games for Baltimore last year. Had 1 reception. Also had 1 reception in 1976.
But clearly a great acquisition based on his play tonight.
Second and 5. Riggins.
Big hole.
Huge hole. The big man, but he can move fast, and he gets inside the 45-yard line to the 43-yard line. First down, Washington.
They deserve it.
You know, he was as big as he is. He was about a 9'6" sprinter. And he performed at Kansas. Let's look at it again. Now he finds nothing there, breaks to the outside.
Oh, they got Larry Cole moving to the inside. Look at number 6'3". They pushed him in there, went on the inside of too tall Jones. Did not cover that hole. Aaron Kyle has to get him right along with.
I was saying earlier on in the first half, that's why Reeve Eubank went for him instead of John Brockington. The ability to go outside.
Riggins again, left side. And carries Cliff Harris for additional yardage to the 38-yard line. Gain of 5, it'll be second and 5.
Bob Bruni coming over from his middle linebacker, and he couldn't get him down. You got to give him an awful lot of credit. They have a motion penalty in the first down, so they're now looking at first and 15. Theismann comes back, throws a dart, hits Ricky Thompson right in the numbers, gets a big first down. Riggins picks up another one. Now they're sitting here with second and 5.
You know, it's an interesting game. It goes back and forth. Washington only had the ball for 1 series in the 3rd quarter. Dallas held the ball 18 plays, 8 minutes and 9 seconds they used up. And now Washington's coming right back on second and 5. Theismann, play action fake. He wants a bundle.
Aaron Kyle got it,
Aaron
didn't he?
Kyle
Yes, sir.
in the end zone. Touchback. Dallas will get it at the 20.
What an interception.
That was a beauty. They were going for Ricky Thompson. He was between 2 defenders and is picked off by Aaron Kyle, the 3rd-year man out of Wyoming. And we'll be right back at JFK Stadium after this message. Joe Theismann tried to squeeze it in between Cliff Harris and Aaron Kyle made a spectacular diving interception to turn Washington back. Really is a youngster. He is really a gifted athlete.
That's what it was, Frank. Really a great athletic move on his part. Everything was elephant okay right there when he grabbed out.
Did you like that call, Don?
Well, not particularly.
Jack Pardee looks out as Tony Dorsett is back in the backfield for the Dallas Cowboys. They trail 9-3. 11:06 remaining in the game. Dorsett gets the call. Finds an opening, hit there by McClinton.
And Butts.
Big number 65, Dave Butts. Gain of a couple, it'll be second down and 8.
All day, all night, tanking Butts.
You gotta be kidding.
Nope.
Washington.
Behind closed doors.
You got it.
Well, you guys are charged tonight.
Why not? I like it here in the nation's capital.
Second and 8. Ball at the 22-yard line. Pearson goes left. Tony Hill, top of your screen. Those are the wide receivers for Dallas. Dorsett will be called for illegal motion.
I don't blame him. He was going to.
Pearson. Well, you don't want to let the ball get away from it because no whistle had blown.
And Dallas was really lucky there because the penalty was against Dallas. They did recover that fumble. Had they not, Washington would have had it right there.
McDowell says, I've got the football.
Well, not a lot of folks are going to argue with him.
You know, McDowell will be playing in the 21st century, Don.
He could be. I noticed that he and Kilmer have birthdays that are about a couple of weeks apart. They were both born in like 1939.
Ron McDowell started at St. Louis. Let's hear this call.
Illegal motion, number 33 offense, second down.
Dorsett, you'll see it. He was 2 or 3 steps towards the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
That moves the ball back to the 17-yard line. It'll be second down and 13.
Dorsett leads Will Montgomery of Philadelphia now. Past him in rushing.
Staubach hangs it up for Drew Pearson, and he
caught it.
He made an incredible
I cannot
catch.
believe that catch.
Wait a minute, I got to see that
That's
again.
one of your diving beauties.
You know what? I think it bounced off his chest. He did a flip and caught it on the way back down. Let's see it again.
40-yard pickup.
Pearson, you are too much, boy. He came walking in as a free agent down there in Dallas, and things haven't been the same for him since.
You know, he used to be the receiver for Joe Theismann back in high school. You're going to see one of the super catches of all time right here.
That is really true.
You're right.
What a catch.
It was off his body, and he got it back.
Meanwhile, Butts is doing a tap dance with Roger Staubach.
He is pushing them back there. Pretty good shape, isn't he?
First and 10, Dallas. Inside the 44-yard line of Washington. 9:35, and the clock is moving, remaining in the game.
What a catch.
Dallas trailing 9-3. Man open is Dupree, and Dupree gives Jake Scott a ride.
He sizzled that one right by Chris Hamburger. It'd be very easy to say he's lost a step. He has been around for a while. I used to throw against him myself. But you'll see that Dupree comes out, number 89. We've been talking about trying to work to him. That's the first time they've really done it. Well-thrown ball, good route. Jake Scott, number 13, is the one that brings him down. Billy Joe really is an asset to Dallas's offense. He's a good blocker. Great target over the middle.
The ball is at the 14-yard line. First and 10 for Dallas.
Now
Joel comes out. Lortz goes in defensively for Washington.
Now you're seeing a championship team rise to the occasion with extraordinary individual efforts.
Joe Lavender is on the sidelines, cramps in the leg. That means Gerard Williams has replaced him on the right side for Washington, and he's had troubles. Dave Butts apparently drawn offside.
And Butts was right. He showed you the sign that he was induced offside. He proved to be right.
Sure, I'm glad he was there in a close first-hand view because I wouldn't have picked it up myself.
Number 71 offense, false start, first down.
You get back to the huddle,
Andre Frederick.
and you say, look here now, Andy, just settle down now. Things are going to be fine. And don't you go till I tell you, and it counts on 2.
Andre Frederick now going against number 71, Carl Lortz. Tom Landry, the only coach the Cowboys have ever had. Been to the Super 4 times, won it twice. Drew Pearson goes right. Picked up out there by Lamar Parrish to the left. Is Tony Hill, covered by the replacement of Lavender, Gerard Williams. Robert Newhouse bobbles an attempted screen pass that in all probability would have gone nowhere to begin with.
That's right.
I think that was an improvised attempted screen pass. Butts was in there on him again.
Now, they just didn't set it up right, Howard. Nobody fell for it. One of those things they're trying to go a semi-play fake to get a screen pass to Newhouse, but nobody went for it. He had a lot of room to the right. Sometimes when you see that thing develop and see the defense has already read what you're doing, that's when you can make a move out to that outside and say, okay, guys, scramble. Then you run into that problem of the lineman downfield.
Second down, 19. Joe Lavender is back in, right cornerback for Washington. Dusick turns around, changes something up defensively.
I'd throw it to Tony Hill. See who I'd throw it to. No way. No way. What a bad
In the end zone. Kenny Houston with the interception.
No way. About 10 yards short is all that one was.
This crowd is going crazy. You see a smiling Jack Pardee congratulating Chris Hamburger as he comes in. Landry, meanwhile, concentrating on the matter at hand. Talking upstairs. Another look at the play. Done?
Well, it just was way underthrown, Howard. There's nobody over there. He threw that thing about 10 yards short. And you see Kenny Houston standing there right where
Kenny Houston came up with his 46th career interception, and it could never have been more important. Dallas turned back, threatening. They, at one point, were at the 14-yard line. Staubach tried to jam it in, and Kenny Houston got the interception. The touchback, Washington leading 9-3 as a 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line. 8:26 remaining in the game. Mike Thomas. Oh, and they are popping out there tonight.
Now, they're doing a really good job offensively. You saw a good move.
Ed Jones on the stop. 5-yard pickup. It'll be 2nd down and 5.
George Stark did a good job. Come out to kick out the outside guy. Cut back inside. Waters tried to fill. Had some good help from the inside that time, too. Picked up a big. That's a good. When you can take a 1st down play and pick up 5 yards running off tackle, you got something working for you.
Washington undefeated. Dallas, if they lose tonight, will fall 2 games back. On 2nd and 5. Riggins pulls ahead and just on his own strength drives Larry Cole back out to the 28-yard line, getting 3. It'll be 3rd down and 2. And there's the man who holds a couple of NFL records, principally returning 4 interceptions for touchdowns in one season. Oh, he's a piece of work.
He is some football player. Nice to see you, Kenny. Glad you said hello.
Got his master's degree there at Prairie View.
It's an important play for Washington, and it's important enough for Theismann to call timeout and come over and talk it over with the brain trust. 3rd down, about 1.5 yards to go for a 1st down for the Redskins. They lead 9-3. They have the ball at their own 28-yard line. We'll be right back.
Don't forget, tomorrow night, the Yankees at Kansas City, the American League Final Playoff Series. I'll be there with Keith Jackson and Jim Palmer, the pitching ace of the Birds of Baltimore. And then Wednesday night, the National League, Philadelphia against Los Angeles. Don Drysdale, Al Michaels, and Johnny Bench of the Cincinnati Reds will be covering that. Frank?
You had to look at Staubach on the sidelines. He's just thrown his 10th interception of this young season. 3rd down, short yardage. Big play for Washington. 7:14 remaining in the game. He goes to Mike Thomas.
And he got a 1st down.
And he did it and paid for it. Aaron Kyle really blasted Mike Thomas as he crossed over the 30 to get the 1st.
I must say, Riggins was in there in front of Thomas. He was doing his job.
There's a lot of folks doing their job because they're picking it out pretty nicely. They really needed that one. That was a stack-up defense. Dallas knew they had to stop them. Washington knew they had to have it. Picked up a real tough 3rd down situation.
Landry glances up to see how much time remains. 6:40 on the clock, and now it moves. Riggins over the left side, and Riggins is up into there. Number 54, Randy White. There'll be a loss of about 1 yard. It'll be 2nd down and 11. Interesting comparisons tonight. Theismann moved his team all the way down the field, threw the interception in the end zone. Dallas got the ball in the 20. They go all the way down. Staubach throws the interception in the end zone. It's been seesaw back and forth all night. Good, hard-hitting game. 2nd and 11. The ball at the 30-yard line of Washington. Theismann going for John McDaniel. No. Dennis Thurman and Charlie Waters on the coverage.
Had a good move by Waters that time, who's kind of the quarterback of that defensive secondary. He was reading the offensive formation very well. Saw that whatever key he was taking, he made it quickly to the outside. Put the pressure on Theismann to throw it exactly right. He was a little bit wide with it, so therefore the pass was incomplete.
You know, they've got a rookie at the left cornerback now. Don mentioned earlier Benny Barnes had his problems in the early going. Then Washington had problems, so Dennis Thurman, a rookie out of USC, an 11th round draft pick, is working over there now. 3rd down and 11.
5 defensive backs, Frank. 3rd down, and look at them come. Whoop.
Theismann floats up in the air.
He got it.
And coming down with it is John McDaniel. He has a 1st down for Washington.
You got to be kidding.
That's unbelievable.
You got to be kidding. Jimmy liked that one.
I got to tell you, the president and his lady liked that play.
Well, they picked a good game to come out and watch.
Anybody should watch it. They put a little pressure on them. You see the crisscross blitz with Thomas. Heckman coming in. The ball was a wish-wash duck shot up to the outside. There's nobody over there. Aaron Kyle couldn't get there. Randy Hughes couldn't get there, but it was enough for McDaniels to pick up a 1st down.
Now, what it basically was, Dennis Thurman was playing way off that receiver, and even floating like that, he couldn't get back. 1st and 10. The ball at the 41-yard line. Play action again by Theismann. He has Riggins. And Riggins goes down in the arms of Bob Brunig. But he gets 6 yards. It'll be 2nd and 4. And more importantly, the clock continues to move.
And now that clock is all important, of course. And I got to tell you, that wobbled pass, that waffling ball
Whack, 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 whack.
was unbelievable.
Take it any way you can get it.
Waiting for McDaniel to call for a fair catch.
Absolutely. Take it any way you can get it.
I still can't believe that McDaniel was only started once by the Bengals.
2nd down 4. Mike Thomas.
Oh, nice move.
And Mike Thomas
Who was that came up
runs
there?
into Dennis Thurman. Gets about a yard. It'll be 3rd and 3.
That's a good field by Thurman, Frank. He came up with that safety. There's Waters in there too, but that's pretty hard for a defensive back to stop that ball carrier for no gain or for a yard, and that's what they did with Mike Thomas.
We have less than 4 minutes left now. And another big play for Washington. They've got a good long 3 yards, maybe 4 for the 1st down.
Out to the left goes Ricky Thompson. To the right is John McDaniel. Theismann throws to Fugit, incomplete.
Oh, that was almost intercepted there, but that was pretty good rush by White. And Martin cut fairly close that time, so brings up a big 4th down.
4th down, and out trots number 4, Mike Bragg. And dropping deep for Dallas is number 86, Butch Johnson. And Theismann is complaining that he was either, well, he's probably complaining that Fugit was interfered with by Cliff Harris. Mike Bragg.
All right, will Dallas be able to do it on this drive?
3:30 remaining in the game. Dallas trailing 9-3. Bragg angles, doesn't catch the sideline. Butch Johnson takes a chance.
Paid off for about 7.
And picks up 67 yards in doing so. Out to the 28-yard line will Dallas will take over 1st and 10. 31-yard punt by Bragg.
All right, Frank, this is it, really.
Theismann on the sidelines. He's having quite a night. What he's been doing, and not only in, of course, the plays, most of them coming from the bench, but he has been using his count well. Dallas several times now tried to blitz, and he had catch him too early. They couldn't get through with the blitz. Just a charged up Washington Redskin team. Staubach to Drew Pearson, incomplete.
Threw it too quick. He had Butts back there. He threw it way before the break came. Didn't have a chance to adjust to that pass because he didn't see it.
He has 3 minutes and 16 seconds left. Plenty of time.
He didn't take a very deep drop that time. Went back about 4 or 5 yards. That's pretty quick.
He is not having overall a good night. He has shown flashes, but overall a difficult night for Roger Staubach. Washington has contributed to that.
Preston Pearson is in. He, of course, as we said before this evening, a very gifted receiver. Dorsett is in. Newhouse is out for Dallas. 2nd and 10.
Ah, then there you go. Move it.
Staubach
No way.
going for Tony Hill.
Got him.
There is a way.
No way.
1st down inside the 30-yard line. Tony Hill came back for it like any good receiver would and made the completion against Lamar Parrish.
I forgot about Tony Hill being down there. That ball was not well thrown. He throws it into the middle. He had Billy Joe Dupree open down the middle. Chose to go to Tony Hill, who made a great adjustment, came back in and went for the ball. And Howard, you mentioned how Tom has bragged on this guy. I saw him out in training camp this year, and he told me, he says, I have never in my coaching career seen a player who had the ability to adjust to the ball. And you saw that last 2-yard adjustment back into the middle.
Lavender was all over him. The coverage was there. He's just a remarkable player with a super individual effort.
Jake Scott back there too. He was looking at Hill rather than the ball, or he might have had the interception. On 1st and 10 for Dallas. 2:32 now on the clock. Staubach out of the shotgun. Staubach gets away from Butts.
Oh, look out,
Wide
Roger.
open, over to the right side is Preston Pearson, but Roger off balance, couldn't get it over there.
He was lucky they didn't pick it off.
He was an ill-advised effort by Roger, throwing across the field and waffling the ball in the process. It was there to be grabbed.
And I think we're going to have a penalty against the Redskins for roughing up Staubach.
They did hit him pretty good, didn't they, Frank? I didn't see who it was. Could you tell?
I believe it might have been Dyron Talbert. That was the accusing finger. Let's listen.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 55 defense.
No, Chris Hamburger gets the call.
Jack Pardee. You know, it's amazing to me. I look at Pardee and I think about Landry and I think about their playing ability. And it comes to the fact that these two guys, they didn't know how so much, so they kept asking why. And they make good coaches when they ask why.
1st and 10 Dallas, 15-yard line of the Redskins, 2:18 on the clock. Dallas trailing 9-3. Dorsett. And the little one skips to the 10-yard line. Gain of 5. It'll be 2nd and 5. Taken there by Brad Dusek and Harold McClinton. The 2-minute warning is coming our way. Staubach has already started moving over to confer with Tom Landry. Hamburger will do likewise with head coach Jack Pardee. And we'll be back with more exciting action in a moment. Putting this game into perspective, the Washington Redskins undefeated on the season. They are 4-0. Dallas is 3-1. The Cowboys trail 9-3 with 2 minutes remaining. They have 3 timeouts. They have a 2nd and 5. The ball just short of the 10-yard line. There are 3 timeouts remaining, as I mentioned. Staubach coming in and having talked with Tom Landry, who calls all of Staubach's plays.
It's kind of important, I think, Frank, to realize that they are 5 yards away from a first down, 10 yards away from a touchdown. So that conceivably could give them 6 downs to make that touchdown.
A touchdown and a conversion that go up by 1 point.
I'd give it to Dorsett every time.
Newhouse and Dave Butts corrals.
Butts, you're too much.
Newhouse and
Flag is
drops him
down.
back for a loss, and another flag is down.
I don't believe Dave Butts tonight.
I would give it to Dorsett 6 times in a row. And I'd say, okay, that's where my money is.
No penalty.
All right.
Correction, no penalty.
Okay.
2nd down.
All right.
We'll buy that.
Whatever you think's right. Now then, you got 5 shots. It's 3rd down and 5. They're going to try to hit Pearson again. Do you think they're fooling anybody when they put Newhouse out and bring Pearson in?
The loss is of 3 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 8. With a 3rd down and 8. Seconds ticking away for Dallas. And now they call timeout. Dallas has called timeout. They'll have a 3rd down and 8. The ball at the 13-yard line of the Washington Redskins when we return. The entire stadium is on its feet. 1 minute and 46 seconds remaining. The Cowboys have 2 timeouts. They have a 3rd down and 8. The ball is at the 13-yard line. Staubach having conferred with Tom Landry. Sends Tony Hill to the right, Drew Pearson to the left. Preston Pearson is also in. He is the receiver in that backfield.
All right.
Drew Pearson.
You got it.
He had possession, I do believe, and now they say no.
Oh, that's going to be a close one. I love it.
Lavender was defending. Drew
Here we
Pearson.
go again.
Every week.
Drew Pearson is not complaining himself. He has to have total possession. He cannot be juggling it. 2 2 officials right on the spot. And he never did have possession.
No, he did not. I think it was an absolutely right call. Now they must try it again.
On 4th down, 1:41 remains in the game. Wow, we've got a barn burner tonight.
Yeah, this has been a goodie.
Can the Washington defense, which has been the difference in this game, sustain with this last try for the Dallas Cowboys?
They got to get to the 5-yard line.
Pearson to the left, Hill to the right. Lavender will take Pearson. Hill is covered.
Roger. Oh, and a flag goes down.
Too much time.
And he called timeout on top of it. That's not one of your typical Dallas teams.
No, it is not, is it, Doc?
Well, unless you go back to the early 60s when I was doing that stuff.
It never happened to you.
Oh, hey, we were confused a lot.
30-second count, offense.
Too much time. 5-yard penalty. Dallas will have no choice.
This is an interesting conversation right here because it's one of the few times you see Roger saying, wait a minute, Tom, you're wrong. Tom says, no, I'm not wrong. You just hold on a minute. I'll tell you why. But they got their wires crossed there somewhat. Brudig, who is Staubach's roommate, of course, is going to be in there protecting. Danny White's coming in there. They got it screwed up. Now they're really in jam. They got a 4th down and about 12 yards to go. Field goal won't help them. They got to go for it.
The ball is at the 18-yard line. It's 4th down. 1:41 remaining. The 1 timeout remaining for Dallas, in all probability, totally academic at this point.
What a
They
ball
need the
game.
touchdown.
A great football game.
What a ball
Literally.
game.
2 fine teams. Don't worry about that, man. When you're one of the few people alive who's beaten black mold cancer, you can live with how a football game turns out. You've got a sense of where it's at. That's Jack Pardee.
Nevertheless, he's vitally interested at this moment.
He is, but he will not live or die by it.
Great player with the Redskins, with the Rams, came to the Redskins with George Allen in 1971 with 8 other Rams.
He was the captain of the Super Bowl team that lost to Miami, wearing number 32.
4th 13. Out to the right goes Tony Hill. He'll be covered out there by number 24, Lamar Parrish. Drew Pearson is to the left. Lavender is in on that coverage. From the shotgun.
No way.
Incomplete. Washington takes over.
Look at this crowd. Hear this crowd.
Whole stadium is rocking. The 5th game of a 16-game season. All over. They're holding up. We're number 1.
That's right. You'd think they'd won the Super Bowl, but why not? It's a night of glory before the President of the United States, who took a well-deserved evening off to enjoy a football game.
It's not over.
Dallas can stop it 1 time. A Redskin 1st down, and it'll be all over.
There's Coy Bacon coming in. They had a good move to the outside by Talbert.
It goes to Tony Hill, and he was well covered back there.
Frank, he got open there at the last.
Washington, 1st and 10. Ball at their 18-yard line. Riggins working on the clock. Seconds ticking away.
How many more timeouts does Dallas have?
1.
1 timeout.
The last time the Redskins got off with a 5-0 record, which they are very close to doing, was back in 1972.
Well,
1 minute. Second down and 11. Riggins holding on desperately to the football, and now Dallas will call their final timeout, stopping the clock with 46 seconds. That still won't do it.
I still go back to that defensive stance of the Washington Redskins when Dallas had the ball on the 2-yard line. They threw them back, they threw them back, they threw them back. They settled for a field goal, and then they came back with their offensive unit and moved it down the field. Washington has outplayed Dallas. They deserve to win.
They know they have it now. Well, they shot a few of them tonight, but they meet again. And no one knows better than Jack Pardee. He played in a lot of these games. He knows that it's a long road. This is one thrilling, exciting night. There's Joe Walton, by the way. Howard spoke of him earlier, a teammate of mine, started out with the Washington Redskins. He runs the offense for the Redskins, and they're off to their best year in many years offensively.
He was a little fella, but a great third down receiver. They couldn't find him. He was somehow always out there alone. Frank used to look on and envy at the man's talent.
Ah, yes.
Ah,
He did have a great deal of talent. Out of University of Pittsburgh, All-American there. The Dallas Cowboys cannot stop the clock again. They have no more timeouts. 46 seconds on the clock. 3rd down and 9. John Riggins right up the middle. We'll take our statistician, Mike Swanson, filling in for Jerry Klein, and our spotter, Steve Bazika, as usual. It's 4th down now.
Too tall, too short, too mean, too clean, too good, too much, too bad.
That's the way you started.
Too bad. Not enough.
Seconds ticking away.
Turn out the lights. The party's over.
Inside 10.
They say that all good
And
things
Washington
must
is going to take their penalty. 3 seconds on the clock. They'll take the penalty, of course.
Delay of game, violation of the 30-second count, 4th down.
This one is going into the books. And unbelievably, without a touchdown being scored by the #1 team in the National Football League, the 2nd-ranked team in the National Conference offensively, the Washington Redskins. A good football game, hard-hitting all the way. Washington defense, superb. The offense, superb when they needed to be. Wiseman, 11 of 22 on the night.
He's going to give him a safety.
It's
right
over.
away.
That's the way to do it.
That's right.
What a football game this was.
Oh, it was.
Brilliantly coached team by that man, Jack Pardee.
Safety on the final play will make it 9-5. Charlie Waters hustling in there. And that's the story now. Washington on top with the goose egg in the loss column. Dallas 3-2. They'll play the Giants next week at 3 o'clock, by the way, in Dallas. Washington goes on to play against Detroit.
Good football game. We had a good football game. It was fun.
A great one.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Once again, the final score, Washington 9, Dallas 5. Be sure to join us tomorrow night at 8 Eastern Time for Game 1 of the American League Championship Series. The Eastern Division champion New York Yankees against the Western Division champion Kansas City Royals. Then on Wednesday afternoon at 3 Eastern Time, Game 2 of the American League Championship Series, followed at 8 Eastern Time by Game 1 of the National League Championship Series. Los Angeles Dodgers against the Philadelphia Phillies. The executive producer of ABC Sports is Brune Arledge. ABC's NFL Monday Night Football is produced by Dennis Lewin, directed by Chet Forty. Technical director Werner Gunther, associate director Bob Lanning. And be with us next week for ABC's NFL Monday Night Football at 9 Eastern Time. The Cincinnati Bengals against the Miami Dolphins. This is Frank Gifford along with Howard Cosell and Don Meredith saying so long from Robert F. Kennedy Memorial Stadium in Washington, D.C. Our blimp provided by the Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company. Travel arrangements made through and a promotional fee paid by United Airlines. United built the largest airline in the free world around you. This has been a presentation of ABC Sports, recognized around the world as the leader in sports television.